Cardiff against Southampton. I can't hear Charlie. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very special welcome to our Solent Soccer Saturday, brought to you by the Solent Sports News YouTube channel. My name is Ollie Howard, and I'm going to be guiding you through today's show for the next few hours, giving you live updates for football all across the country, as well as action straight from the Utilita Bowl, the home of cricket, as Hampshire host Warwickshire. We've got reporters across the south of the country, stretching from the Football League to the Wessex League, to make sure we bring you all the live updates as they happen. And that's not all, of course. We have four friendly footballing faces who'll be covering the best of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Closest to my left, we've got Kai McKenzie. Now, last time out, he reported on Inter versus Porto in the Champions League last 16. Don't worry, we don't blame you for not remembering that golden draw. But today, he'll be hoping for a goal fest. It's Watford against Hull City at Vicarage Road. Then to the left of him, Rhys Barrett. Now, he may be a Southampton fan, but he'll have to put his unbiased and impartial hat on today as he gives live updates for Cardiff versus Southampton. Over again, Daniel Baverstock. And whilst he couldn't cherry pick his beloved Bournemouth this afternoon, he'll have to make do with one of only 2 3 p.m. Premier League kickoffs. Luton Town play host to Brentford. And finally, a match-up between two strugglers at the foot of the table. We have Callum Bates with us, giving us live updates for Sheffield United versus Burnley, two teams desperate to make a late survival push. Right, boys, here today in the panel, we're going to start with you, Kai. Watford against Hull in the Championship. Now, Watford, managed by Tom Cleverley, by the way, but sitting in 15th at the moment. We know their manager merry-go-round, as we like to call it. How do you see it going on today?
I think it'll be much tighter than people believe. You know, on the surface of it, you look at Hull in 7th, performing well, scoring some beautiful goals, as we've seen throughout the season. And Watford sort of just going through the process. They haven't really done anything special. But they're not that far away from each other. You know, you look at Watford, and yes, they're separated by about 9 points, 11 points, sorry. But that you look at the Championship, and there's only 4 teams that have guaranteed to play in the Championship next year. So everything's still to play for, and I think we'll see a very tight game. Hull fluid on the counter with their some brilliant players that they have, most on loan, but it doesn't matter today. I think we'll see a 2-1 Hull win. Yeah,
we were speaking about Hull seems to, especially in January, have really tried to make that push for the playoffs, bringing in some really tidy players. Fabio Carvalho, Tyler Morton's been there this season. So what do you think, who's got that firepower? Who's that spark that they're going to be relying on today?
I think it will be Carvalho. I think he's coming in January, you know, not 18 months of really not playing football, which is going to take a hit to anyone, especially a young player like that. But to come in and play the way he has, been an important player, has won them games, you know, got them key points. Yes, we're looking there 6 points off promotion as it's playoffs as it stands. Is it too late for them to make the push? I think so, but I think they can finish the season strong, which will give them obviously that power next year, going in, that belief that they can push on and become a Premier League club again. Well,
Hull City 6 points below Norwich in that final playoff position, but they do have a game in hand. Norwich are in action against Bristol City today. Over to the left, sticking with the Championship, of course, Rhys Barrett. Now, Rhys, let's talk about the promotion battle at the moment. 4 teams at the top. Who's going to get the last 2 places?
It's so hard to say, Ollie. I mean, the race is definitely ripening at the moment. We are in the peak of the promotion race. It's fantastic. Cardiff, on the other hand, 11th. They can't go any higher with a win. But Southampton, 3 wins on the bounce, taking their league total up to 25 wins. They're still 7 points off of first place Leicester, as it stands, who are leading 2-0. So you were saying it's maybe a little bit too late to actually push. Southampton have shown that you're never actually out of it in the Championship. That's why many see it as the best league in the world.
Well, here's the first goal update straight away. West Brom have pulled a goal back. I'm sure we'll get the goal scorer as soon as we can. Leicester taking a 2-goal lead through Wilfred Ndidi and Jamie Vardy. Seems crazy that we're talking about those 2 calibre of players in the Championship, by the way. But no, West Brom have pulled a goal back now, 2-1. at the King Power. Now let's go up a little bit with Daniel Baverstock in the Premier League. Now, Dan, like I said, you can't commentate on Bournemouth today, but Luton against Brentford. I think we've been saying, I think Luton is everyone's second team this year. Everyone wants them to stay up. Can they do it?
Well, there would normally be 5 points adrift, but because of Nottingham Forest's 4-point deduction, they're sort of coming back into it. Only 1 point away from Forest now. Both teams have been actually hit for a bad turn of form. Luton only 1 win in 12, Brentford only 1 win in 10. So it's going to be a very nip and tuck game today. Luton only 2 calendar wins this year, but obviously last time out against my beloved Bournemouth, 90th winner by Morris. Got them the win. So it's going to be a very tight game for us, for me today to watch.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've actually got in my notes, Luton have only won 1 in their last 13, and like you say, it was against Bournemouth. Let's talk a little bit about Brentford. Are they sleepwalking into a relegation battle?
Well, I'd argue, it's a tough one to say. They've sort of got a nice little 8-point cushion, but I mean, a few more losses and they're going to be dragged. They're going to be dragged down, and this game is going to be extremely crucial for Thomas Frank's team today. No Tony again. He's on the bench. He was itching for a start, but they got the firepower of Visser and Mbeumo, and they've got Lewis Potter starting.
Yeah, that was a huge loss in midway through the season with Mbeumo being out, but he, like you say, back in the starting lineup. We'll obviously talk a little bit about Ivan Toney when we speak about the England squad in just a few moments' time. Let's stick with the Premier League. Callum Bates, you're going to be talking about Burnley versus Sheffield United. I think maybe that's the short straw as far as Premier League fixtures go, but you know, both teams, a draw will suit neither of them, will it? It's a must-win game.
No, it is a must-win game for both teams. You say it's a short straw, but in the reverse fixture it was 5-0. So that's loads of goals if we can get another scoreline like that. But Sheffield United don't have a great record this season with 84 goals conceded in the Premier League this season. They are actually winless at home in 2024. But I think Burnley would just be favourites because I think Fofana, who's actually not playing today, who's on the bench, I feel like he's been pretty decent for them the last few games. But I think Sheffield United probably need it a bit more, but I think Burnley have a more chance of staying up. But I think they're both in a bit of trouble. Yeah,
to put it in perspective how bad Burnley's goal-scoring woes are this season, David Datro Fofana, who joined in January, is their top scorer with 4 goals. Cole Palmer did that in his last game. So they've got 5 players on 4 goals, but with Fofana out, maybe they might have a struggle, and it doesn't look too good for my prediction, which will also come later on. I want to focus again still on the Burnley and Sheffield United. There's been lots of talk around social media, around broadcasting companies, that is there a gulf between the Premier League and the Championship? It looks perhaps not likely, but possible that all 3 Premier League teams could go straight back down, and all 3 Championship teams could go straight back up. I know Ipswich, as it stands, are in second place, but it's certainly possible that they could fall out into the playoffs.
I think if you're looking at the 3 teams that are going to go down, I think it's most likely going to be the 2 teams today and Luton. I think Sheffield United will be certainly the one to go down. I think Burnley might have a slimmer chance. I think Luton obviously are going to be the one that's going to be pushing the most. But if there's a gulf, I don't know if there's a gulf, because I think equally Leicester fans will say they'd easily stay up in the Premier League this season. Maybe Southampton as well. So I don't know if there's a gulf. I just think maybe because people thought Luton would go straight back down, I think they've put up a hell of a fight. So I think if you're talking like Sheffield United, I think there is a golfing class between them and the others in the Championship at the moment.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. Let's actually go straight to our live reporter now. This is the final match week of the National League, and we were going to go live over to Eastleigh at the Silver Lake Stadium with Jack Bunclub, but we're actually going to do a role reversal. We're going to go to a Championship ground, Loftus Road, QPR against Preston at 5:15. But we've got Alex Isaacs there in West London early on. Alex, what's going on? What's the vibe like in the sunny west of the capital?
Oh yeah. So we are in London. I say we, me and Jamie Hale. We're in a pub called the Defectors World. Yeah. About 15 minutes. About 15 minutes from Loftus Road, and we are joined by a couple of QPR fans. So I'll hand it over to Jamie. So Jamie, take it away.
Perfect.
Well, lads, lovely to meet you again. Well, I say meet you. Already run into you. What is it exactly that brings you to QPR every single time you come?
A bit of both, really. A bit of excitement, plenty of disappointment across the years. Like I said a bit earlier on when we had interview just a minute ago, it's like someone brought me a ticket for Christmas. I couldn't not stop coming afterwards. So it's the excitement, the buzz, and can't wait to see the boys each week, really. So
I was about to say, you said about the disappointment from Christmas. Are you sure that buying him something which would upset him at Christmas is a great gift?
Well, I was hoping it would be a good present, but I mean, it was Southampton, so it was a guaranteed loss, really. But it was a good day out, and since then we haven't seen them win yet. So
I was going to say, from the Solent panel, I'm pretty sure we're glad that you mentioned about Southampton being able to win that game. But going into this game against Preston North End, what exactly are you guys expecting, and what do you think the score would be?
Expecting a really tight game. Preston a little bit off the playoffs now, so I don't think they're going to get where they are. Teams above like Norwich are going to have to lose 3 to get there for Preston to get up to that stage, and we might see an inexperienced few players come out. They got some injuries today as well, so hopefully an inexperienced squad with some injuries, like to win, but maybe 1-1 in realistic terms.
I like the realistic terms, and then I was going to say before as well, saying that you were more of the fan. What do you expect?
well, I mean, like you said, injuries, they're out of the playoffs. I think there's nothing to play for, really. So maybe 2-1.
2-1. Well, I do hope for a little bit of a happy ending to all this, especially considering the Christmas gift and going into it. But I was going to say, we'll head back to the studio now and, well, let you keep going around the grounds. Thank you.
Well, certainly looks like a lovely vibe out there in West London. QPR, what a resurgence under Martin Cifuentes. It looked really bleak for them in the relegation zone, and then that revival from their Spanish manager looks as though they might just stay up. I think maybe 48 points should be enough, but just as it's exciting at the top of the table, equally it's quite scary at the bottom. We're going to go straight over to the Southern League now. Familiar territory for myself. AFC Totton are in action. It's I think you could call it a European game. It's not just England versus Wales in the Championship between Cardiff and Southampton. Also, AFC Totton versus Merthyr Tiftil. Tom Goward is at the Snow Stadium, so let's see if we can go live to him now. Tom, what's the vibe like at the Snows?
Hello.
Well, I'm sure Tom is he's scrolling through his phone trying to get all of the team news, I'm sure, trying to get all of the information before a very exciting game there in the Southern League. It's a huge game at the top of the table. Totton in 4th, Merthyr in 5th. A win for Totton could keep them breathing down the necks of Gosport and Salisbury. They want to ensure that they get the top playoff position so they get the home semi-final and potentially the final at home as well. With Merthyr, they need to make sure, because they've got Bracknell, Walton, Hersham and potentially Hungerford breathing down their neck. So I'm sure Tom will get those technical issues sorted in the near future. Let's go over now a couple of leagues above into the National League. Eastleigh in their last game at home to Halifax Town. And whilst they did manage to stay in the division, it didn't go quite to plan at the Silver Lake. Jack, what went wrong?
Hello.
Well, apologies once again. I'm sure that we will eventually get it sorted. But at the moment, let's actually talk a little bit about the permutations that's going on in League One and League Two. Derby County can confirm promotion to the Championship today if they win, but it would be provided that Bolton and Peterborough both drop points. Equally, they could also draw, but drop Bolton, Wanderers would have to drop points, whilst Peterborough lose. The relegation battle is also quite interesting down in League One. Fleetwood, it looks fairly pessimistic and miserable for them. They will be relegated back to League Two if they either fail to win, if Cheltenham win, or if Burton Albion avoid defeat. But also, Port Vale could be relegated to League Two today if they draw or lose and Cheltenham win, if they draw and Burton win, or if they lose and Burton avoid defeat. Right, let's talk a little bit more about the games going on today. We're going to go back to you, Kai. We're talking about some beauties in the Championship with Hull City. I'm sure you've all seen it on social media. Jayden Philogene, that Rabona from the right side of the 18-yard box, over into that far corner. Are we talking about a Puskas Award winner?
I think we might be. I think it's very difficult to call with the Puskas because it comes down to, obviously, it's all opinions, isn't it? Yeah. You know, you might prefer a 40-yard screamer and I might prefer a nice little tiki-taka goal. but it was a thing of beauty. And you sit there, it's one of those ones that you sit there.
Can
and
you give me a
stop
countdown
around
when
you
I'm
to
live,
say,
please?
Have you seen this? And he's a brilliant player, as we've seen.
Just give me a 3, 2, 1, then go live.
On loan from Villa.
I'm actually going to correct you there. They've actually signed him from Aston Villa, but Aston Villa do have a buyback clause, which
okay,
let's not be surprised if they exercise that.
No, with the way Villa are going. But he seems like a brilliant player. And like you're saying, as I was saying earlier, Hull, I think they're just that little bit, we're talking a couple of points here away from making that late push. They still can mathematically, we need to make that clear. But I do believe that they'll have a really strong base next year. If they make some of these loans permanent, Tyler Morton seems to be playing really well for them. I think Fabio Carvalho might be a little bit out of their reach with players. However, I think if they make some of these signings permanent, they've really got a strong basis to push on from.
No, I completely agree. And hopefully I think we can go back to Jack Bunkirk at the Silver Lake Stadium. Maybe the technical issues have been sorted. Can you hear us, Jack?
Hello and welcome to the Silver Lake Stadium, where there's a bit of a chill in the air, even though the sun is out. But Halifax Town won't mind that, as they have clinched the last spot in the National League. They have defeated Eastleigh 3-0. Adam George got the first goal in the first half, and then Jamie Cook got a clinical finish within the box just after the hour mark, and it was wrapped up with a Max Wright rocket to give the visitors 3 points in the playoff semi-final against Oldham next time. Eastleigh have had a bit of a mixed fixture season this year. Great FA Cup run, but ultimately disappointment because they did not get the playoff spots, which they failed to do by the skin of their teeth last year. And Kelvin Davis came in, did a good job. He was the third manager of the season and just made sure that they were safe. So they've got another year in the National League next season.
Okay, there we are. The National League games look to be wrapped up today, and it's Boreham Wood who have faced the unfortunate circumstance of being relegated. Woking made sure they weren't nervous whatsoever. 3-0 victory at home to AFC Fylde. Let's speak to Reece again quickly with Southampton. Now, big news came out in Southampton. Gavin Bazunu, bad Achilles injury. It looks like he's going to be out until July next year. That's going to be... Is that a loss, or is that a chance for Alex McCarthy to fill into his boots? Or
well, the problem is, it's 9 to 10 months that they've said officially on the website, I believe, through Russell Martin's press conference. So it is a loss because Bazunu's played every single game in the Championship. He knows the squad, he knows the style of play. The difference is that when he was injured in that game, before the game, against Preston, Joe Lumley was on the bench, Alex McCarthy was not in the squad, and Alex McCarthy was promoted to a starting spot. So what does that say? Number one, to Joe Lumley's confidence because he's been left on the bench. What does that say about Russell Martin's faith in Lumley? And what does that say about how much he trusts Alex McCarthy? McCarthy can't play like Bazunu can with his feet. He's a decent shot stopper, Alex McCarthy, but that's his bread and butter. That's all he can do. He's an older keeper. He was someone that they tried to move on in the summer and had no luck with. He's only kept 1 clean sheet, which was against Preston, since November 2021. So when he comes in for a keeper who's out for 10 months with an Achilles injury, one that he's not going to come back any earlier from, it's going to have to be a new summer sign-in for a keeper for sure. But now you're in essential games for Southampton where they've got to win all 4 of the last ones, and you're trusting someone that hasn't really kicked a ball this season.
I also saw recently that it was confirmed that Jason Wilcox has moved on to Manchester United. Was he the sporting director?
Yeah.
Talk me through that.
So Jason Wilcox came in 9 months ago, I believe it was, from Manchester City. He was their academy director. So he was given a promotion by Saints in terms of job role and hierarchy. At Southampton, it's a club under Sports Republic, the new owners, well I say new, but they've been here for a couple of years, a club that are going to give that backroom staff a lot of freedom, especially when you employ someone like Russell Martin, who's changed the identity of the club top down. Someone like Wilcox has come in and he's been the guy at Southampton, the one that orchestrated the signings of Romeo Lavia, who moved on for big money, someone even like Juan Larios, who we haven't seen much, Livramento, people like that from academies, especially the Manchester City Academy, where he came from obviously. Someone like Shea Charles, that's all through Wilcox. Now Wilcox has gone to Manchester United, where he's going to be underneath their new sporting director. He's now just a cog in their system, whereas he had all the freedom he wanted at Southampton. So I don't know what that says for him in terms of his job, but obviously he's getting paid an awful lot more. For Southampton, I trust that Sport Republic will make the right decision who to bring in, but it could take a long time for that to come through. But if you're a Saints fan, you'll just be really, really, relaxed that it's actually gone through now, because the news from Wilcox going to United has been around for months.
I did think that. I was surprised actually it hadn't been confirmed yet, because I was under the impression that was going on for several months. We can actually go live to another live reporter in the Southern League, but not at the Snow Stadium with Tom Gower. We're going to go over to the Charters Community Stadium, where Winchester play host to Beaconsfield. Now we've got Head of Media Nathan Potter out there in North Hampshire. Nathan, how do you see it going today?
Hello, I'm here at the Charters Community Stadium ahead of Winchester's final home game of the season against Beaconsfield Town. It's also their last game on grass before they get the pitch relays over the summer to turn it to a 3G pitch. Winchester, if they win today, they could potentially move up to 10th. And Beaconsfield, they're in a bit of a trouble here in the relegation fight between about 8 teams. It should be a good game. It's a great day for football. Let's hope for the best.
Well, I'm going to stick with you, Nathan, a little bit, because Winchester got a little bit of social media coverage in recent weeks. Talk me through about that tweet and what happened against Merthyr. Well, never mind. I think I'll just have to tell you what happened between Winchester and Merthyr Town. And you may have seen it on social media, almost 5,000 likes on that one. Winchester, playing host to Merthyr, who, like I said, are in South Wales, the Valleys, if you will. And Merthyr, the kit woman, forgot to bring the kit, guys. She forgot to bring the kit, so Merthyr were forced to play in Winchester's away kit. So quite a remarkable turn of events there. Let's go over now to Dan, like I said, between Luton and Brentford. Now, Ivan Toney not starting today. I think that might be quite a few times since he returned from the suspension, from the gambling. Is that now a system? Is that now, because it doesn't look like it's a recurring injury. Now it looks like that Thomas Frank is just preferring having Mbeumo and Wissa up front.
Well, Thomas Frank has actually confirmed that he's not in the squad at all. I'll read you the statement. He says, unfortunately, the injury has taken a bit longer than we thought. It was a playoff final he would have played, but it isn't. It was 1 of 5 games. So they want to give him a chance to reach 100%, and they feel like today's game is not something that they can risk him with.
Well, with Ivan Toney's future up in the air, how long can they wait to get him back to 100%?
I mean, what's there, 5-6 games maybe left for Brentford, and close to the drop zone. This, as I said earlier on, is a must-win game. I think if they lose, they're only 4 or 5 points off Luton, who have got fixtures such as Wolves and Fulham and West Ham, which are potential point getters to sort of propel them forward and sort of drag the Bees into the relegation fight.
Well, what could be happening there is they make sure they're not seeing any injuries to Ivan Toney, so they can get that big sum in the summer.
Yes,
I also want to stick, and this is pretty much to all of you here, Neil Maupay. Right, I can see from the reaction there, we've all got an opinion of Neil Maupay. He's scored a few goals, as we said, for Brentford this season. He's up to 6 in the Premier League, which for his standards in the Premier League isn't that bad. What do we think of his antics?
I can't hear the studio, so I don't know when they're going to throw to me.
I think he's one of those players that if he played for your team, you'd love him. Yeah. But it's just a shame that he doesn't play for any of our teams, and we all hate him. I think he just comes across and I've got to watch my language here. It's very easy to get carried away, but he's just a bit of a lummox, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, it's Neil Maupay, isn't it?
Is that the same for all of you three?
Yeah, he's one of football's troublemakers. I mean, it's someone who you wouldn't want to sort of bump into on the football pitch, and just an overall troublemaker.
Okay, Callum, have you got the goal, going back to Sheffield United Burnley? So I should have segued that a little bit more clearly. They've had a few goalkeeper troubles, have the Clarets. You know, James Trafford in from Manchester City has been given the reins quite often, but we've seen Aro Muric in recently, but a terrible mistake at the weekend, trying to control the ball, which just gone straight under his studs and into the back of the net. Who starts in goal today?
It is Muric. He's kept his place. I think he's actually been all right. I think he's been a little bit better than Trafford. But then the mistake, it cost him a massive 3 points last weekend. He does start in that. There's not been too many changes. It's pretty much the same side. But again, as I said earlier, Datro Fofana not playing, which bit of a surprise. They've just gone with Lyle Foster up top.
Oh, that's interesting. Lyle Foster, nice to see him back as well, following those quite openly saying that he's taken a way back from football because of a mental health issue. So lovely to see that he's back out onto turf. Let's actually switch over to another stadium and switch over to another sport. We're going to go live to Josh Stewart, who's at the Utilita Bowl. Hampshire host Warwickshire. Josh, how much is at stake today for Hampshire?
Hi, I'm here at the Utilita Bowl, where Warwickshire have been absolutely ruining the home fans' day. They were just bowled all out for 455 for Captain Alex Davies, which is 149, truly leading by example. However, Hampshire finally got the opportunity to bat, and Middleton is the first one to get on the board with a nice little 4 off mid-leg. However, Hampshire have a lot of work to do if they are going to get anything out of this game. They do have Liam Dawson to thank for being able to finally stop the Warwickshire tirade. He finished with 5 wickets from that first inning. It's going to be a very tough ask, but Hampshire will still have plenty of time to try and attempt it.
Well, let's hope our home county can salvage something and get the win. And I have to apologise all to the fans today. If you are regular watchers of the Solent Sports News Soccer, whether they're the News Nights or the Soccer Saturdays, because one of our live reporters, Liam Harding, unfortunately cannot be here today. But fear not. If you haven't seen him yet, or if you want to be reminded of just what he brings, our brilliant production team have put up a short compilation of all of his best moments. Strap in, you're going to enjoy this one.
There's been a goal, but who thought Liam Harding?
It's 2-2! Just put a goal back. Liam Maloney's made things level. They might just be jumping up to 4th place in the table. We've still got a few minutes left, and they're looking dangerous as ever. Sheffield United can't keep up the Stags attack. It has 2-2 here, 2-2. This Fatherby's here, Father is absolutely amazing. No man has ever seen it like him before. It was Jordan Norris Williams who had a deflection and put it to the back of the Hampton Waterloo net.
I'll tell you what, I shouldn't be biased, but I did want Farnborough to win, and I thought that they shouldn't really won because they were more composed in the last 10 minutes.
However, it's remained pretty even this half. Yeah, that's it.
Say that we have one more final update from Liam, who's there with your Jaffa cakes. Liam.
It was a very emotional night tonight, and as you can see, all 624 spectators behind me have left the ground. And I tell you what happened. What happened was in the last 5 minutes, someone got a goal. 1-0, and then they got a second one. What basically happened was he chipped the goalkeeper.
Where did you get your Jaffa cakes from?
Tell them we're ready to go. I actually got them before I came tonight, just from the good Tesco around the corner. But it wasn't just these. I had tonight, had M&M's, and I also had now nearly demolished a pack of chocolate fingers. But they're all for everyone else, and not for myself. I'm a selfless man. I'm for the team. I must feed my brothers. So it's a good game.
It's amazing. Scenes are going crazy. And you want to see the goal yet? Okay, so that's all for tonight. And again, I sent off to Charlotte Arthur tonight, my second moment in disguise for another moment. So thank you. Thank you very much for watching tonight.
Liam Harding, Jaffa cakes, and football. What is there not to love?
The top goal scorer in the Southern Premier right now. That's Liam Harding, 2 pints down at the Snow Stadium. Thank you.
Tell me when you come in.
It's happened again. I missed the goals in the toilet, but my fellow foes have told me all about it. That's it at the minute. Liam Harding from the Easy Snow Stadium with 8 layers on.
Good stuff. Well, and how would you? So would you say haven't have been on top for the whole game? Oh, he's gone.
Sorry,
Liam,
I missed that.
Sorry, Liam. So have you say
No, it's
haven't
okay.
been on
Sorry,
top
I wasn't
for the game?
expecting it.
I'm here at the Snow Stadium. It's completely covered in fog. Can you see it? Can you not? However, that doesn't make excuses for Tottenham's first half display. I'm here jogging up and down to the Snow Stadium. Sheffield United have just got a goal. It's nearly 1-0. Tottenham just got a goal back. But Ricardo German just got his 19th of the season. And the Tottenham are banging hard on Sheffield United's door. But just have a look. Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty? Okay, that's all we have right now. That's all we have. Yeah, I'm just walking back to the car in the car park. We've just been kicked out, but that's okay because the game's done and dusted.
Well, was it a penalty? I'll tell you what, guys. What I loved the most about that was the pacing up and down, and then bang, he was on camera. Absolutely brilliant there from Liam Harding. Sorely missed tonight, but hopefully this afternoon, I should say, but hopefully you all enjoyed that one. Now we are going to cross over to the Southern League, and not Winchester. We're going to talk about AFC Totton, the playoff hunt. Totton may have already secured that spot, but Merthyr still in the balance. Tom Goward is at the Snow Stadium.
Yes, welcome to the sunny Snow Stadium today. We're here for Totton versus Merthyr, 4th versus 5th in the league. It's set up lovely, the pitch is looking in lovely condition. We haven't received any team news net yet, but when we do, we'll get that to you. Totton come into this game in good form. They've won 3 in their last 5 games. They've scored over 80 goals this season, so we're sure to see a goal from them today as well. With the informed Tony scoring 12 goals in his last 11 games. For Merthyr, they've only won 2 of their last 5 games, and so they'll be looking to win today to secure their place in the promotion playoff bits. Like I say, when we have the team news, sure to come back to us, but that's all from now.
Well, if possible, could we just stick with Tom? Because I do want to talk a little bit about the history of Merthyr, because if you can go back somewhat 37 years to 1987, you had quite an interesting European match, Tom. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I was doing some research this morning. Merthyr actually played Atalanta back in 1987 in what was the Club Winners' Cup. They played across 2 legs, and Merthyr managed to get the victory against Atalanta in there. Something Liverpool couldn't achieve this week, obviously, in the Europa League. But yeah, interesting story from Merthyr Town.
Yeah, unfortunately they couldn't quite do enough in the second leg to go through. But yeah, like you say, what a story. First of all, to win the Welsh Cup with the likes of Cardiff and the likes of Newport enter, and then to go and play at Atalanta and then win that one as well. Some story out there. But we've also got another live reporter. He's going to be giving us a post-match analysis. And Tom Humphreys was at Dagenham Resurgence against Aldershot. What a game, Tom!
Hi, Ali. It's finished about 10 minutes ago here at Dagenham. Aldershot needed to win today, really to guarantee their place in the playoffs. Or they needed a little help from Eastleigh as well. Neither of which happens. Eastleigh obviously was. And Dagenham and Aldershot drew 3-3 here. Eddie Effiong used to play for Aldershot, scored the first goal for the Daggers. And then Aldershot, early in the second half, got an equaliser from the penalty spot through Sam Harries. And then it looked as if Aldershot were going to get the win on the day and then have to rely on Eastleigh when Lawrence Allard headed home. But then 2 quick goals from Dagenham in the last 10 minutes made it 3-2 to the Daggers late on before a Josh Barrow free kick leveled the scoreline right at the end. A really entertaining game here in Dagenham today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tom. I think that might have been the game of the day. Like you say, Dagenham Resurgence took the lead in the 93rd minute through Pereira to make it 3-2. And then 4 minutes later, in the 97th minute, Aldershot doing all they could to make sure it was 3-3. What a game we had there. Let's go right back to our panel. Let's talk a little bit about the Premier League relegation battle. Do you think, like we said, will Luton have enough? What do we think? Or Everton with Nottingham Forest, are they going to get sucked into it?
I think it's too early to tell. I know we're into that run-in now and we're counting down rather than counting, see how many games are left. But I think we don't know. Points deductions are still to be decided. Everton will find out their latest points deduction, their 2-point deduction, if it will stand or be rescinded 2 days before the final game. I think at this current point, and I know it's a cliche and we've heard it all before, but you've just got to take each game as they come. And a bit of a boring, who knows? I know that's
like a true politician, Kai McKenzie.
Yes.
Another thing as well with Luton is, I'm sure I want to get into the England segment fairly soon, but Alfie Doughty at left back, wow, what a ball he's got on him.
I think a lot of surprise in that Luton team. I think they've come up sort of inconspicuous. I think in the playoff final, everyone thought Coventry would do the business. And Luton have managed to really, I don't want to say explode out of nowhere because it's been brewing for a good couple of years, but they've put together a tidy little team. There's smart transfers, some free agents, experienced players coming in that have been able to get them over the line. And listen, I think they'd be an asset to the league if they managed to stay up. And I'd love to have them around next year. They're entertaining to watch. They're a good side to watch.
It's a nice underdog story, and I think you see these teams who you'd expect to finish at the bottom of the table. You saw Huddersfield about 5-6 years ago when they survived. You saw Sheffield United finishing 9th. You saw Bournemouth about 10 years ago when they came up surviving against all odds. And I think Luton have built up a really, really strong team. Obviously, you mentioned Dirty, 7 assists this season. Ross Barkley coming into the team, how beneficial and how good has he been this season. Morris as well, 9 goals. And these are the sort of stats and figures where you'd think, they're going to keep you up. But only time will tell. I think it's going to be a real tight showdown between them and Nottingham Forest till the end of the season.
Yeah, well, I think we actually might be able to go to our Super 6 predictions fairly soon. Let's start with, I think I can see mine. getting ready. So that's another little segment we've added to the Solent Soccer Saturday. We've got the 2 Premier League games and 4 Championship games. We'll come to that one just shortly. Let's talk. I want to talk a little bit more about the non-league football, because I feel like the Southern League maybe doesn't go, seeing as we're a Hampshire-based a YouTube channel, if you will, maybe doesn't get too much coverage. We've had you three especially covering Poole Town, Winchester, Dorchester. Dorchester, I'm going to start with you, Dan. What a resurgence!
I mean, Tommy Killick, after leaving Poole about September, October time, he's taken charge of Dorchester just before Christmas. And since he's taken charge, if you started the Southern League table from then, they're finishing 3rd at the moment. And from when he took over, I think there's 22 teams in the league, if anyone doesn't know. They were 20th when Tommy Killick took over, and they're up to 9th now, and they've got a really strong, serious charge at the playoffs.
Yeah,
an outside charge.
I do think, that the words Tommy Killick, that name has changed everything for Dorchester.
Yes,
when you're at Poole, he was Poole manager for well over a decade. Not only do you have that calibre of quality as a manager, you have the reputation as well. So when he jumped over to Dorchester, when he was forced out of Poole, which obviously was a very disrespectful decision, when you get forced out of a club like that, you can bring along players like Marcus Dawes, those really talented young players that idolise Killick in a way. They're happy to jump over and follow him.
Yeah, that's the other thing I want to mention, the calibre of players that they brought over, long-serving players, has certainly helped the cause, and it's such a now a young team, followed by the experience of the other players that they brought over.
Well, it's a cutthroat industry, isn't it, management? And that seeps through from the Premier League all the way down to the Southern League. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Walton and Hersham story. 3 back-to-back promotions into the Southern League, toying with the playoffs as well. They had a step plan, a 5-year plan to get to this division. They did it in the quickest way possible. They almost get promoted, and then they sack the manager. I mean, it's unbelievable. If you don't know the story about Walton and Hersham, owned by a consortium of 6 24-year-olds, and whilst they've made some fantastic decisions to get to this situation in the first place, I think that might be their first mistake. And following that, 6 players walking. Kai, I know you've encountered Walton and Hersham.
Listen, they're a good footballing side. They know what they're doing. You know, they're not. You hear a group of 24-year-olds owning a football club, you think a bit amateur. You know, how do they know what they're doing? But it's a well-run club. It's a nice ground. They've got a nice setup. I think, as Ollie said, this is the first real mistake they've made, and I think it will come back to bite them, because there are so many teams in the Southern League at the moment who you could make the case that next year they'll be up there. They'll be up in the playoffs. So have they missed their chance to push on by sacking their manager? Yeah,
it maybe looked like they were just. It was unlikely that they were going to get the playoffs, but it was that decision came following a 4-match winless run.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's just so cutthroat. There's not enough patience in management at the moment. But let's focus actually talking about patience and management. Sometimes you get poached by another team, and I'm going to talk to you here specifically, Reece, because there's been rumours going around that should De Zerbi move on to another club, Brighton may be eyeing up Russell Martin.
I think that, to be honest, that wasn't from a great source at the time, and I can't confirm anything substantial in those links. I think it is quite, because Russell Martin obviously has history of Brighton, having played there. I think that's just sort of putting 2 and 2 together in a really obvious way. That is what Russell Martin said himself as well. He said he hasn't had any conversations with Brighton. I don't think he's the mould of manager they'd go for also. Similar style in terms of football and how you want to dominate possession and get all over the other team. But I feel like it's a different profile coming from a team that's already established, Southampton, who are in the Premier League for so long and now dropped down, could end up getting back there. I feel like Brighton are more likely to look abroad. Simply because they can also get the compensation a lot cheaper. Russell Martin's on a big contract, a long contract. Yeah. So if they want to buy him out, that's a big fee you're going to be paying to Southampton.
Well, Brighton rarely get their recruitment wrong, and that comes in the management as well. Not many people knew about Roberto De Zerbi. I think that's fair to say. Even Graham Potter, whilst he was at Swansea, he was Ostersund's when where he made his name.
Exactly. I think it is a compliment, that Russell Martin's being linked with that. Because like you say, their scouting team's so good, they don't get it wrong. So it's a good show of respect to Russell Martin.
Yeah, definitely. Let's stick with Cardiff, Southampton actually. Like I said, let's. You can put your biased hat back on. Cardiff are a team who have actually scored more goals. I'm going to clue you in here, Reece. They've scored more goals from set pieces than open play this season. 43 goals scored. 22 of them have either come from a corner, free kick, or penalty spot. Now, how are Southampton at defending set pieces?
Well, honestly, today's lineup, which I can run through quickly, you've got McCarthy in goal, obviously replacing Bazunu. Then you've got Walker-Peters and Manning out wide, Harwood-Bellis and Bednarek in the middle, which are going to be important for those set pieces. Then in the midfield, Smallbone and Aribo have come in, the 2 changes alongside Stuart Armstrong. So as a midfield, that is not a physical midfield. You've dropped Downs, and you don't have Shea Charles, who's provided.
Have you said?
Yeah, sorry, Downs is not in the team. He's not in the team at all. Wow. So Downs is out, probably due to injury, because we didn't know if he was going to be 100% fit. But he and Shea Charles, 2 of the more physical players that were defensively minded. You've got Will Smallbone in that midfield 6 now. So when you're looking at set pieces and the crosses coming in, he hasn't got a big frame to defend. You're going to be looking at that partnership of Harwood-Bellis and Bednarek to do most of the dirty work. And elsewhere to finish off the lineup, you've got Brooks, Adams and Adam Armstrong. So I think that that's a team that isn't physical, especially Brooks and Adam Armstrong. Sure, Shea Adams can hold it up front, but when you're coming in, whipping balls in off of set pieces, who is going to clear them? They've only got the 2 centre-backs to do that.
All right, and to really emphasise that point about set pieces we've covered before, their top scorer is their centre-back, Perry Ng. Only 6 goals, it has to be said, and I don't know where they've come from, but you imagine if it's a centre-half, that's usually from inside the 18 or the 6-yard box, you could probably say, with his head. Also came out recently with Southampton, Sekumara being issued a 3-match ban. Can you tell us any more about that? Do you know what happened?
Yeah, so it was an elbow off the ball in the last game. So a bit of a commotion as the ball went out for a throw-in, and Sekumara's come in and elbowed one of the Preston players from behind. It's really silly, not only to do that full stop as a professional, he is a young professional, but still a professional. Coming from Bordeaux, where they were at financial hardships, he should know how much rides on this promotion financially and obviously for the fans as well. So he should know more than anyone, really, how important it is to stay fit and out of trouble. But that being said, he's out for 3 games. These are 3 important games. I don't think he'll be missed too much because you've got Adams and Adam Armstrong who are on fire at the moment. Adam Armstrong, 20 goals, 13 assists this season. Scuffed out of, left in the dark, out of player of the season shouts and the team of the season. But I think that Sekumara won't be too big of a miss. But like you say, really silly mistake to make at this stage of the campaign.
Yeah, we'll talk about our team of the season in just a moment. But I want to bring in Callum here when it comes to the Premier League. Now, we're all, 21, 22 years old. So some of us may not remember the Derby County season as well as others. But in your recent memory, are Sheffield United the worst?
Yeah. I'm not going to beat it around the bush. I think they are. I think everyone wanted to say Luton were going to beat that. What was it? 20 points was it?
11.
11 points. And yeah, I think that they've got some good bits to their side. I think Hammer in midfield. I think he's a really good player. Scored in the playoff final in the last season against Luton. I think he's been a real find. I actually don't think he'll probably be there next season. No, because I think he might be a bit too good for the Championship. But then again, you see Jamie Vardy in the Champ still.
Not as good as he once was, though, Jamie.
No, but he'd probably still do a job for a relegated side. In short, yeah, they are probably the worst I've seen.
Well, the worst season ever in Premier League history, like we said, was Derby County in 2007-2008. Huddersfield are second in the 2018 season. They only got 16 points, which is how much Sheffield United have at the moment. So a draw today would at least put them above Huddersfield. And I think I can remember Aston Villa having a torrid time in the season that they went down. I think it was 20 points that season. So yeah, it looks as though Sheffield United, if they were to win today, they would still be 7 points away from Nottingham Forest in 17th. But Burnley looks as though they might be creeping into, if they win today, it's only 3 points off Nottingham Forest. And it looked as though they were dead and buried. But those points deductions put a spanner in the works, haven't they, Callum?
Yeah, they have. It helped Luton especially, but I think it's given Burnley a bit of life. I think the signing of Fofana on loan has helped. Yeah, he's already their top goal scorer, which is ludicrous to even imagine. But yeah, I think taking Trafford out as well. I know Merrick made the mistake last week, but I think that's improved them. I think they've looked a tiny bit better defensively, but I think they always create chances this Burnley side. They just need to find someone to finish them.
Do you think Burnley sticking with Vincent Kompany is almost an admission that we're not good enough for the Premier League, but we were too good for the Championship? Let's stick with it, and hopefully we go straight back. Or was that because they could? We were saying maybe managers don't get enough time. Maybe owners are too impatient. But was there an opportunity maybe around Christmas time for them to push the button?
In my opinion, I thought they were going to sack him. I don't know if it would have been the right decision because I don't know who you're going to get out there that's going to drag him out of that spot. But yeah, I think I don't know if they've done the right thing, but I think they've done a sensible thing because I still think this team in the Championship will still go so far and at least challenge for automatics next season.
Well, like I said, Bournemouth aren't in action today, Dan, but let's talk about patience with managers. Has anything paid off more than the Bournemouth owners with Andoni Iraola?
Yeah, I mean, a torrid start to the season.
But it's a horrible start to the season with fixtures, though.
Yeah, didn't get a first win till the end of October, but since the turn of the year especially, went on that incredible run. Obviously, manager of the month last month it was, with the four win streak. So it's been I think at the moment watching Bournemouth is probably it's the most enjoyable that the fans have been watching for as long as I can remember, to be honest with you.
But it's a style of play as well, isn't it? Iraola doing fantastic stuff in Spain. But like you're saying, I think that in the first 7 games, Bournemouth had to play Spurs and Chelsea and Man City and Liverpool. I think it was quite clear to some people who watch them regularly that it was going to come if you just give them time. And Dominic Solanke leading the line. I mean, did even you see that coming? How good he's been?
I've always backed him, but honestly, the amount of goals I've seen from him this season has been staggering. But yeah, just mention about the how we play, the pressing and the pace, and how far up the pitch we sort of press, like the high block Bournemouth play. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, I can imagine. And also, something I've noticed this season about Bournemouth is the luxury of how many attacking midfielders and wingers you've got. So if you were to pick 3 players to slot in behind Solanke, there's so many: Ouattara, Alex Scott, Tavernier, Cliver, I'm sure more that I can't think of. Who are the 3 that you think make the best 11?
So I think Semenyo on the right, he's devastating. I mean, he can take on a defender one-on-one, and most of the time he'd get the beating of him. Cliver in the 10, just behind Solanke, offers so much support and press and enjoys the way Iraola plays. And then Tavernier on the left-hand side as well. He's sort of backed off of his form last season, but 3 goals this season, he's fine.
And Ryan Christie, another man reborn.
Yeah, turned, obviously, playing right winger as we signed him from Celtic a few seasons ago. He's now sort of slotted into the box-to-box midfielder role, sort of playing in the 8. And yeah, he's been one of the best players this season for the Cherries.
I think it's the tackles as well, especially with Iraola. He's just getting stuck in so much. It's really quite incredible to see. And we'll just stick on board for one more topic. I'm seeing a lot of talk about how good Zabani's been. Is that correct? Has he been? There's some outside shouts that he's one of the young players of the season. Is that going a little bit overboard?
Yeah, he's played every minute of this season. Only 21 years old as well, captain material. I mean, he's played so well. He's already looking like he could be a real force, and unfortunately it will probably mean some of the bigger clubs will go in hunting for him because he's such an incredible player.
Potentially so. Then we're going to go back to you as well, Reece. I think we're not really giving this championship promotion race enough coverage. It's so incredible how all 4 teams they all drop off together and they all find form together. If you had to put your money where your mouth is, give me 2 teams that are going up automatically.
I think the 2 that will go up automatically will be Leicester and Southampton. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. A win today puts Southampton level with Leeds on 87 points. That number alone, 87, is ridiculous, by the way. But like you said, they're all in unison. No one wants to get promoted. I don't blame them. Championship, best league in the world. So why would you want to go to the Premier League? Right?
Last game of the season as well.
Exactly. Southampton Leeds last fixture. It's at Ellen Road. It's a fortress for Leeds. But they play on Monday, so even then they've got a 12 superior goal difference, Leeds above Southampton. So if Saints win today, they can't climb above Leeds into 3rd, and Leeds have got the chance to make that gap 3 again if Southampton win, and they win on Monday. So it's not, there's still 4 for Southampton. Southampton have got that game in hand, but there's no necessarily way it's going to be decided today, because if Saints lose, it puts all the pressure on Leeds. They might lose Monday. Leicester have managed to get the win as it ended 2-1 earlier. No matter what happens, with just a handful of games left, there does seem to be, like you say, a bit of unison where all the teams lose together, win together. So I think that you can't count anyone out, especially when you're talking about Hull earlier, Kai. Yeah. It's not like you'd sit on the fence. So I thought you were going to say they'd make it. But it's just, I think that no one can ever be counted out until it's mathematically impossible. Especially a team like Southampton, who got that 0-0 draw against Blackburn, and that seemed like it was over, season done. Because as soon as they drew 0-0 against Blackburn and failed to score at home, everyone thought, no, they can't do anything. But the goals from the central players like Adam Armstrong, 20 goals, 13 assists, like we've said already, that's going to be important. Cardiff have won 2 in their last 6. Last weekend losing 3-1 to 16th place Millwall. So Cardiff aren't a team on form. They are a banana skin. I think every team in the Championship is a banana skin, honestly. I think maybe a team like Bournemouth as well, who were there recently a few years ago, you can agree that even when you look the best and get automatic promotion, you can still lose to teams that maybe you really should see yourself beating.
It's such a tough league to get out of, and personally I don't want Bournemouth to be in that position ever again. But I was just about to ask, you seem to be writing off Ipswich.
I think that Ipswich, McKenna is proving me wrong because I keep saying they're about to drop off and they still haven't dropped off. So I think that Ipswich will be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, but I see them tailing off. Obviously they were leading the league before Leicester played this morning. So it's so tight and it's really nip and tuck. There's only a few points in it at the top. But it's so often that you see a team like Ipswich with an inexperienced manager that just drop off at the last second. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think they will, Ipswich. I really don't know if they will.
Hull and Coventry coming up.
Hull and Coventry, exactly.
Next 2 games, that's going to be huge for them.
Huge fixtures.
Both away as well.
Exactly. And when we're saying you can lose to anyone in the Championship, obviously when you're looking at hungry teams like Hull and Coventry, both chasing that playoff position, even if they just sneak it in at the end, they're always going to want that win. So everyone wants to win in the Championship.
Well, how good has Mark Robbins been as well for Coventry? It's so incredible to see their rise so close, 1 kick away from reaching the Premier League. But like you said, let's actually talk through the Championship at the moment. Leicester top with 91
We'll start
points.
in the US.
2 points below with 89. Leeds then on 87, and then Southampton on 84 with a game in hand. Let's actually just go live. There's so much football going on today, not just in the country, but also elsewhere across Europe. Josh Stewart is going to bring you all the latest, so you don't have to go through scrolling on Sky Sports. Over to Josh.
We'll start in the USA, where MLS action comes from all across the country. Montreal welcome Orlando City in a clash of climates as the Florida side leave their 34 degrees Celsius weather to the 7-degree weather of their opponents. Nashville travel to Miami in a hip-hop v country music battle, whilst Atlanta take on Cincinnati in an ancient Greek v Roman event.
I know, I showed you.
New York City host DC United, Toronto welcome New England over the border, and Columbus Crew and the Portland Timbers play in a pirate-themed affair. The Brazilian Serie A sees Fluminense face Vasco da Gama, Grêmio play Cuiabá, and RB Bragantino face Corinthians. We now look over to the Australian A-League, where 3 cities provide all the day's action. Western Sydney Wanderers face Melbourne City. Melbourne Victory play Brisbane before Sydney-based Macarthur host Sydney FC. In Italy, it is the Battle of the Pollies as Empoli host Napoli. Hellas Verona then take on Udinese. French League 1 action sees Nantes welcome Rennes, and Lens host Clermont. In Germany, the Bundesliga sees Heidenheim and Leipzig and Köln v Darmstadt. Hoffenheim take on Borussia Mönchengladbach as Wolfsburg take on Bochum before Union Berlin go up against Bayern Munich. In the Zweite Bundesliga, league leaders Holstein Kiel, the same place from where the famed cow originates, travel to Hamburg as chasing St. Pauli hope their city neighbours do them a favour as they go to Hanover. In the dry leagues, and remember, as Michael Fassbender found out the hard way, it's dry, not dry. First face second as home face Jan Regensburg. Sweden's Allsvenskan sees Göteborg welcome Norrköping. Sirius will be hoping the Stars don't get in their eyes as they play Värnamo, and Malmö round the day off against Västerås. La Liga action takes Las Palmas to Celta Vigo and Osasuna to Rayo Vallecano. Later on, Valencia hosts Real Betis before Girona welcome Cadiz. In the Segunda Division, league leaders Leganes travel to Tenerife, whilst 5th place Sporting Gijón could lose their spot to 8th place opponents Elche, should they lose. Primeira League action in Portugal gives Braga the opportunity to leapfrog Porto into 3rd as they face bottom side Vizela, as Boa Vista play Estrela Almodóvar and Moriense play Gil Vicente.
Wow, I was getting the weather forecast there, Josh. That was a lovely graphics, to say the least. We're actually going to go live to our live reporter now. Eventually, we've got Tom Goward at the Snow Stadium, 5 minutes away from kickoff. I can see everyone else getting their matches on. Tom, have you got any team news for us?
Yeah, thanks, Ollie. So we're just over 5 minutes here till kick-off at the Snow Stadium, and I have got some team news to bring you. For the home team, Josh Gold starts in goal, Charlie Kennedy, Luke Hallett, Joe Ossiter and Adam Tommaso, Scott Rendell, the captain, Ethan Taylor, Marshall McIntosh, Ben Jefford, Luke Bennett, and the star man, Tony Lee. I hope I said them right, Ollie. I felt the pressure with you presenting today to get those teams named right. For the away team, we have Jamie Cogman in goal, Callum Ryan Phillips, Nick Rhodes, Noah Sermon, Matthew Harris, Tom Hanley, Alex John, Fraser Thomas, Ricardo Reeves, Lewis Tamley and Ollie Mayhew. So like I said, just over 5 minutes here to kick off. It's filled up nicely here at the Snow Stadium. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, I don't want to tempt fate, but there's lots of goals in that team. You've got Tony Lee, Ricardo Reeves and Scott Reynolds have all scored over 20 league goals this season. Looks like a strong team for AFC Totton. We're actually going to go live back over to West London where Alex Isaacs and Jamie Hale are. I can see them in shot. They're giving me the thumbs up. How's it feeling, guys? And we're still about over 2 hours away from kickoff there, but is it starting to heat up the pub?
I'm now at Loftus Road and things are starting to hot up. We are in the club shop. We've been having a little look around what merchandise they have got. There's some really cool retro shirts that I will show you in a second.
Nice.
And Jamie's picked up a little postcard. Who's on there?
So this is actually Ilya's chair. So in the pre-interview before, we actually spoke to the fans and they picked out this player. So we looked a little bit more into him. He's actually very similar to Nadal Tarat, regen. Very skillful, very quick, likes to cut in, try and go for the long shot. But there is actually one icon in this team, which most of you will remember from FIFA, Asmir Begovic.
What a keeper, by the way. What an absolutely unreal keeper in the Premier League. And now he's at QPR, doing his thing. And I will just show you a couple of the QPR retro shirts. This one is very nice in particular.
Ooh.
It's a bit like Celtic shirt. But yeah, some very nice merchandise in here. And things are starting to get busy at the ground here.
Make a prediction for the...
But yeah.
Would you guys like to make a... We might have
a couple of predictions from some fans right now. Prediction of the game?
Here. Do you want to quickly...
2-1 to QPR.
2-1 to QPR?
Who's your favourite player?
Who's your favourite player?
Begovic or Chair?
I like Chair.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, no
prediction from you, mate?
I'm going all out 3-0 QPR.
3-0 QPR?
Yeah, it's going to be 3-0.
Got to be positive.
Big prediction, big prediction. Right,
thank you so much.
Thank you. But yeah, things are starting to get busy here now, and yeah, the excitement is building. But yeah, we'll join you from the press box probably.
We'll see you at half time.
And yeah, at half time. So back to you in the studio.
Yeah, nice to see our resident groundhopper Alex Isaacs there. He's been fantastic, really, just going around the grounds on these Solent Soccer Saturday. I think he's been at the Den with Millwall, been to Swindon Town as well, and now treating himself to Championship action with QPR against Preston. Like I was saying, Marty Cifuentes has completely changed the ethos at Loftus Road. I'm looking over to some laptop screens to the left of me. Looks as though the players are getting ready to warm out. They're starting to pick themselves up. Watford against Hull. Let's keep on that, Kai. Well, how are Watford fans going to go? Because I know you do have some tenuous links over to the club.
I'm going to try and not show any biases today. However, there are links there. I think it's an interesting one. Obviously, Tom Cleverley's come in.
Yeah.
Has had that record. It was an unbeaten record up until they played Southampton in that agonising defeat they had.
Yeah.
But I think there's a very feel-good factor around the club. I mean, how much trust can you put in a manager that you won't be there in a year, realistically? Yeah. But I think having Emmanuel Dennis back, who was a fan favourite, he left, we're talking about a guy that was scoring against Real Madrid in the Champions League, signed for Watford, got sold, and he's now back on loan. And I think he's just one of those guys that everyone at the club loves. He's one of the, I don't want to jinx it, but he's very much a Darwin Núñez sort of figure.
There it is.
Had to fit it in. But as in the sense that the fans of the club will struggle to dislike him because he's just got that, when he signed back for them on loan, he said, I'm back home, which, Forest aren't going to be too happy about. Yeah. But I think there's a very good feel-good factor. You get into the end of the season, it's sort of more fun. You're not going to go down. There's nothing to play for. It's just, very schoolboy. Go out there and have fun. And I think that's what they'll try and do today.
I don't know about you guys, but does anything else scream that we're getting old when Tom Cleverley, once a wonder kid at Man United, is now a manager? I mean, if that's not a sign of the times, I don't really know what is. Reece, Southampton against Cardiff at the Cardiff City Stadium. What does it look like? What's the atmosphere looking like?
Well, we've had both of the teams walking out now. A lot of empty seats on the Cardiff side, but we've just watched Russell Martin walk over to salute the travelling Southampton fans. Brilliant. And obviously a Swansea boy winning the double over Cardiff last season. The groundsman's turned the sprinklers on and sprayed Russell Martin. We're looking at lineups now, so we are mere minutes away from getting underway here with this game. I just want to talk a little bit and give Southampton their flowers, if I may, put my biased hat on.
Yeah.
Because we heard the QPR fans with Alex and Jamie say, well, you know, Southampton's always a guaranteed loss. You talk about Southampton breaking unbeaten streaks. So I think today, if they can take in some of this hype that everyone on this show has been giving them, I'm going to give them hype as well.
Yeah.
You know, being completely honest. If we can all take that in and give Southampton our energy, I think this is going to be a good win.
Well, it's 3 o'clock on the dot, so I think that's the time to get through into our Super 6 predictions. I think we're going up with mine first. I'm just trying to remember what I actually said, but I think one of my boldest ones was that Burnley are going to go to town at Bramall Lane. There they are, Burnley to beat Sheffield United 4-0. You don't have to agree with that, but I just think that's the way it's going to pan out. If we can get them over again, I want to have a nice good look at my predictions. I think I've got Hull to beat Watford 2-1. It doesn't seem very clear on the graphics at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be able to show you a little bit clearer. We've also got, I believe, Norwich to beat Bristol City and Plymouth and Stoke to play out a score draw. Can we get a close up of my predictions, please? Is that possible? Thank you ever so much. But it is 3 o'clock on the dot. The games have kicked off there at Kenilworth Road and at Bramall Lane, and there they are. Luton to beat Brentford 2-0. These are actually Kai McKenzie's predictions. I was going to say, because I thought I had a 2-2 draw at Kenilworth Road, but Kai, talk me through them.
Yes, I'm now going to have to try and jog back to an hour or so before when I made these predictions. I think, let's start with Kenilworth Road. I think, excuse me, let me just pull these up.
Well, you've got
them down
Luton
there.
to beat Brentford 2-0.
Yeah, I think Brentford are going through a bit of a dodgy spell at the moment. I think Luton have that sort of motivation to be able to push on and get the win over their London rivals, if you can call Luton London.
No, Hertfordshire.
No, I think it's in that great sort of, we'll throw them all together.
Bedfordshire, I should say, not Hertfordshire.
Yeah, exactly, London, Luton
Airport.
You know, it's all the same. But I think I do see Luton going ahead to get the 2-0 win there. And then I had, excuse me, sorry.
There they are. You can see them. So Southampton to beat Cardiff 3-1. You're confident there?
Yeah, I think Southampton will push on and get the result there.
Yeah, I believe a still image might be the clearest to our audience. But like you say, you've got Burnley to beat Sheffield United 3-0, Luton to beat Brentford 2-0, Hull to be winners against Watford.
Yes.
We've all actually got Hull to beat Watford there at Vicarage Road. Southampton to beat Cardiff 3-1, Plymouth to do the business against Stoke away from home 2-0, and a 2-2 draw between Norwich and Bristol City. Talk to me a little bit about Plymouth. This is a Cornwall boy we're talking about, Kyle.
So I don't like Plymouth. So it doesn't, you know.
I know Plymouth's in Devon, but
it's the closest thing you can get. I just think that they've got some real quality players there.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Morgan Whittaker, who's been sensational this year. I think.
Finn Azaz was a big one.
It's one of those that I think, as football fans, we can all agree, sometimes the result stands out and you can't justify it. It's like the other day I had Bournemouth to beat Man United, as I did earlier on the season, and it's one of those that you can't really justify, but it just makes sense.
Feeling.
Yeah, it is, and that's all it is. And you know, if you go against your gut feeling, you're going to get it wrong. So no, I stand by my predictions, and we will see at 5 o'clock how right I am.
Yeah, well, a couple of minutes into the game against Luton and Brentford, so let's go over to Reece Barrett's predictions. Reece, 3-0 Brentford.
Yeah, I think Brentford's potentially benching Tony and going with those strikers that they're used to up front. I think that they've got attacking prowess. I know they're struggling at the moment, but I think they're doing well. I also want to point out that a lot of us have got Cardiff to score, and I've put that in mind due to that implication of Alex McCarthy coming back in the squad. But when I look at these predictions, and please gamble responsibly and don't take this as any sort of incentive, but my ACCA there for all of those teams to win, 61-1. But a correct score there is 1,396,642-1. So please do not put a pound on it because you'll be wasting a pound.
I was just going to say.
There's always a chance, like you said, when you feel it in your gut. When you feel it, you feel it in your gut. You feel it, and I'm hoping that I think we can get the job done with a big, heavy win over Luton.
Yeah, like I said, we are underway in most of the games around the grounds. There's full-time as well in League 2. Wrexham already getting back-to-back promotions to League 1. They beat Crewe Alexandria 3-0 away from home against the Railway Men Now let's go over to our next prediction. We're just slightly over time, but I'm sure they're still relevant. Dan Baverstock, you've got your predictions. They should be up on screen fairly soon. Another 2-2 draw between Sheffield United and Burnley. Brentford also to beat Luton. Talk me through your thoughts there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very open game between the Blades and Burnley. I think floodgates will be open and both teams are going to try their best to sort of get a result. Also, the Cardiff Southampton game as well. I think it's going to be a little bit of a shock. And I don't think Reece is too happy with my prediction just there sat next to me. I've had a few choice words in my ear.
That's changed since about an hour ago. Can you tell us what you had before?
Did have 5-1, but I've lowered the goal amount.
I think you've already realised the errors of your ways. And I think come 5 o'clock we can have another discussion.
We'll see at the end of the show. But yeah, Luton, Brentford as well. I think Brentford will get the job done. I think Luton, I think it's only a matter of time. And then obviously I've got Hull to win. Norwich are on really good form. I think they're going to get that last playoff spot, confident against Bristol City. And I think Stoke Plymouth at the foot of the Championship as well. Going to be another tight game. I think that's going to finish 1-0, yeah.
And finally, Callum, let's take everyone through your predictions. It seems like to be like a recurring theme. Is Sheffield United Burnley going to be 2-2? Because 4 of us have said it, 3 of us, I should say, have said it's going to be that way. You've actually got Luton to beat Brentford, also going Southampton 3-1 away at Cardiff, 2-1 away win for Plymouth at Stoke, Bristol City at 2-1 win away at Norwich, and Hull to do the business over Watford. Talk me through them, Callum.
We'll start with Watford. I just don't like Watford being a Lutonian. I can't have them even a draw. I'm not allowed. With Sheffield United Burnley, I just don't think either want to win.
No. I
don't think they want to win, and I wanted to see some goals really. So with Luton, I had to predict them to win. I did have 1-1, but then I thought they love last minute winners, so we'll give them that. Southampton, I think they'll be comfortable. I think with the goalkeeper situation, I think they will concede. And then I thought, why not put Stoke to lose this?
Yeah. Well, it's been really strange, Stoke, because I'll hold my hands up straight away. And I had Stoke to go up this season. I really thought it was going to be good. And then they brought in Stephen Schumacher, who did fantastically well at Plymouth Argyle. That was hoping to change their fortunes. And I actually covered Stoke in a Soccer Saturday last season when they played Middlesbrough. And I thought there were some excellent players there, notably ex-Liverpool and Wolves man Kichiana Hoover. What a right-back he seemed to be, but that hasn't really kicked on this season. We are a few minutes into this one. Callum and Dan, take me through the Premier League games. We'll start with you, Callum.
Yeah, it's been a pretty slow start. You've just got Burnley had the ball for pretty much most of it, not really having any attacks. You had a free kick from Sheffield United. They put it in the box, but it was way over here, and it just went out for a goal kick. We're just about under 5 minutes in.
And Dan?
Yeah, again, another slow start, 3 minutes in. Luton sort of trying to keep the ball, keep possession. Brentford seem to be pressing quite high up the pitch at the moment. Running through the lineups, 4 changes for Luton after the City thumping. I think it was 5-1. You got Kaminsky, Burke, Mengi, Osho. You got Kabore back in the side after he missed out against his parent club. Arsenal loanee Lukonga is also in alongside Barkley, and then Doherty at that left wing back position. And you've got Clark and Chong in behind Morris. For Brentford, after beating Sheffield United 2-0 last time out, their 3 changes. You've got Ajer coming back in and Ethan Pinnock. He's back in the side for the first time since March, so that's been a really, really big miss for Brentford. He's alongside Collins and Reguilon in midfield. Damsgaard, Janelt, Jensen as the midfield 3, and then Mbeumo, Visser and Lewis Potter is the front 3, trying to cause some problems for that Luton back line.
Thank you very much. We'll have more coverage coming from our panellists in just a moment. It's looking quite bleak for Fleetwood as Burton have gone 1-0 up at home to Reading. Bennett with the goal there. But let's go over to the Snow Stadium, where I've heard there's been a chance in the game between AFC Totton and Merthyr Town. Tell me, Tom. Well, apologies there for the sound difficulties. If I could work out what he was saying, it looked like the ball went over there, then came back over here, then went back over there again. So, but unlucky there not to score. But we've had a chance in the game between Cardiff and Southampton. I mean, I guess it's Southampton from your reaction, Reece. What happened?
It is. It's a strike against the woodwork. Also, you need to be a professional lip reader because that was great. But we've just seen Stuart Armstrong on the edge of the box pick up the ball. It's fizzled across.
Can you hear us?
Sort of the edge of the D. He's had a go and it's smashed into the post on the far side. Good curve in the shot as Cardiff go forward, but they lose the ball.
Okay,
This has
sorry.
been quick from Southampton, a high press so far. We saw Adams take a chance, but it was pulled back for a foul. Cardiff actually trailed a ball across the 6-yard box as well, which Southampton won't want to concede chances like that. But right now it's 0-0, a few minutes in, about 10 minutes gone now. So Southampton in the driving seat.
Well, Tom Goward seems to have put his voice box back in, if I can hear correctly. Tom, what happened at the Snow Stadium?
Yeah, Ollie, I have found my voice now. Like the Merthyr fans down the other end of the pitch, you can hear them more than anyone. The first big chance of the game actually fell to Merthyr. The ball came down the right-hand side of the pitch, it was crossed in. There was loads of bodies in the box. I didn't see who had the shot, but it was cleared off the line by the Totton goalkeeper. But yeah, the first big chance going to Merthyr, but still 0-0 here at the Snows.
Yeah, Merthyr Town are renowned for their away following. Both them and Poole Town are probably the best in the Southern Leagues, coming from about a 3-hour trip from Penny Down Park. Callum, in the meantime there, I saw you a big inhale and then clenching your fist. What happened there between Sheffield United and Burnley?
Yeah, Sheffield United on the attack on this right-hand side. It's a very nice call in. And it's pretty much a tap-in for Ollie Burnley, and he's hit it straight at the keeper. Any other side, and it's an easy goal. It's still 0-0, 8 minutes in.
Yeah, looking to see any more goals in the Championship. All goalless around the grounds there. Kai, Watford against Hull. Still a slow start there?
I wouldn't call it a slow start. You know, there have been a couple of half chances, mainly through Jaden Flengy on that left-hand side. They're playing a 4-4-2 today, quite a wide sort of system. And the only real chance they've had is ball's been crossed over. Yeah. Ryan Porteous, the Watford centre-back, has tried to head it back to Beckham, the keeper. Doesn't have enough on it, running through on goal, and luckily it just had that little bit extra. You know, we're talking that fraction, you know, millimetres away from being the opening goal. But other than that, it's been just passed around. I think both teams trying to figure each other out. Sort of like the start of a boxing match, isn't it? Yeah. No one really wants to go in hard too early. You're just sort of sussing the other guy out. But I can feel there'll be at least a goal today.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. That's what we want today, a goal fest. Watford, not really too much to play for, seems to be, whilst they're now confirmed to be in the Championship next season, it doesn't look like they will be going down or going up. Hull, on the other hand, everything to play for. Like you say, Philogene, he's got those tricky feet down the flanks. Ozan Tufan, 9 goals this season for him. Watford actually won the previous meeting back in December 2-1, so hoping to do the double over the Tigers there. Reece, how have Cardiff responded from that earlier chance for Southampton?
It's so open, to be honest with you, Ollie. I think Stuart Armstrong with that chance, which was literally identical to the one he scored against Preston in midweek as well. Cardiff have tried to come down their right-hand side, so Southampton's left, where Manning is leaving a lot to be desired defensively, and that's been a common theme, to be honest. He's made 81 appearances for a Russell Martin team, having played at Swansea, but he doesn't seem to have that prowess when he's defensive. He's good going forward. Created the most chances, actually, in the Championship out of any player that wasn't a midfielder last season. So we know he can do it, but Southampton coming close. Cardiff also doing their own bit as well. Very open game.
I'm going to have to cut you off, Reece. Something's happened at Vicarage Road. Kai, you've got to tell us what's happened.
I know, I didn't want to interrupt him. He's enjoying it. There was a penalty. It was a beautiful build-up before the foul. Let me compose myself. It was a thing of beauty. Allsops played the ball forward to Tyler Morton, who's let it run, and Watford have got about 7 players on the edge of the whole box.
And what's happened there then?
Joe Aribo has put Southampton ahead in the 11th minute as they lead 1-0 against Cardiff. It's a shot which was parried, and I'll summarise it up later. You go with the penalty first, but Southampton are 1-0 up.
Championship is the place to be at season, though, Kai.
I mean, as I would just say, Tyler Morton let the ball run. It's been played back out wide. And Carvalho's just cut inside, and it was a stonewall penalty. I don't think you'll see many clearer today. Just make it the keeper. Just make sure. Sorry, I need to compose myself. I'm excited to get a goal. The referee's just going through it all, just making sure the backman knows to stay on his line, and it's been saved. Is that Tufan has taken the penalty, gone to the right, and backman saved it. That is a huge, huge save there. We're just watching the replay. It's one of those that's sort of half to the right. A very easy save for backman, and you'd expect any half-decent player to do better there. But as it stands, it's 0-0. We haven't got the goal. Already an exciting game.
I think you might be cursed, Kai. The Austrian international backman diving well. It's a comfortable height for him, it has to be said. And it's a poor penalty really from Tufan. Whilst it did have a little bit of power on it, it was a comfortable save. And if you dive the right way, more often than not, you are going to keep the ball out of the net. So all the action here on Solent Sports News. Thank you very much all for joining us. And the Championship seems to be the place to be right now. Tufan unable to score his 10th goal of the season there. And also another man who's really been reborn. He was traditionally a midfielder, but he's been moved further up the pitch by the manager. Boys, Callum and Dan, I want to talk about really. The Championship's got all the action. Is it still boring in the Premier League?
Yeah, I'm peering over my shoulder. I'm watching the other two games. No, but we've had a chance here. Doherty has forced a nice save from Flecken, sort of the left-hand side of the box, an arrowed shot, and Flecken easily just palmed it away. And moments ago, Lewis Potter actually had a chance. He was put through by Jensen, and the angled shot was just miscued, going wide of the post. But bit nip and tuck here, but it's still 0-0. About 11 minutes played.
Yeah, Keane Lewis Potter, of course, an ex-Hull City player. Now, he hasn't really had that run of games in the Premier League, but with the injuries that they've had to Mbeumo and the suspensions to Ivan Toney, maybe that was the opportunity for him to take it to another level. But let's see if he can make a name for himself in Thomas Frank's side. Another chance at the Cardiff City Stadium over in Wales. Reece, what's happened?
So it's a mix-up between Joe Aribo and Shea Adams, both latching onto a loose ball that's been played in behind from Adam Armstrong. It's ended up being Aribo slipping over, but Shea Adams has managed to take it forward, but drills it low and the keeper deals with it easily. Adam Armstrong then has a chance at an open goal, but he's way outside the penalty box. He has to use his head at the lofted ball and it goes way over. But Adam Armstrong, also the one that set up the Joe Aribo goal, his 4th goal of the season for Joe Aribo. Talk about a man reborn. This is a guy who could not get into Nathan Jones's lineup. Could not get into Ruben Selles' lineup to save his life. He was isolated by 2 managers. Russell Martin's seen something in it. It's 1-0 Southampton.
He's a powerful runner, isn't he, the Nigerian international? And that gives us another segue. We were talking about Adam Armstrong. Is that his 14th assist of the season now? 20 goals. Let's talk about the team of the season. There's been lots of debates between the Southampton fans and the Leeds fans about him or Rutter, him or Somerville. Do you think he should have been in that starting 11?
I don't think anyone deserves it more. He didn't have a great season in the Premier League and he's fantastic in the Championship. I'm not sure if that will be number 14, simply because it was a shot he had that was carried out and then Aribo tapped it in. But I think that in terms of attack right now, it's all going through Adam Armstrong. That pace that him and David Brooks have, especially when they get out wide and Shea Adams plays in the middle, they're finding it really hard to deal with Cardiff. So yeah, Southampton in the lead, currently level on points with Leeds now. 3rd and 4th are tied up. Southampton are knocking on the door of those automatics.
It's going to be so tight. Let me tell you, that match week 46 is going to have eyes peeled in Yorkshire and in Hampshire. Goals galore also in League One. Blackpool taking a 1-0 early lead against Barnsley. Burton have doubled their lead against Reading, so it looks as though Fleetwood will be going back down to League Two. Cheltenham Town, the Robins, are taking a 1-0 lead at home to Lincoln as well. And Stockport County, champions-elect at the top of the League Two table, have taken a 1-goal lead at home to Accrington Stanley. Walsall also one goal up against the Bantams of Bradford. Callum, talk me through Sheffield United versus Burnley. Does it feel like a game of two sides who have just haven't really got going in 2024, even 2020, the latter end of 2023 for that matter?
I can definitely see why they're them two bottoms. But Burnley, they're doing well up until the final pass. They're controlling the possession pretty well. Sheffield United really tough to break down. Sheffield United are getting more forward though in the last few moments. Oh, good chance. There's a header from Brereton Diaz, who's been pretty decent for them the last few games. It's straight at the keeper, Murik though, and still 0-0. But I would say Sheffield United have been the better side there.
Yeah, Brereton Diaz only joining in January for the Blaze. He's already their second top scorer with 4 goals in the last 3 months. McBurney, funnily enough, has got 6 goals. I, for one, can't even think of one of them. I think he might have actually got that late equaliser against West Ham in the 103rd minute, but just seems to have quietly gone about his business, gets the red cards, gets the yellow cards. He's got sprinkled a few goals in there as well. Now, Kai, how have Watford responded following that save, that penalty save, and almost taking it down the other end?
It's just injected a bit more life into the game. Straight away from the penalty save, Emmanuel Dennis is running down the left wing as he's been employed as a left winger today. And he's cut inside, and it's one of those, he gets sandwiched by 2 players. The ref could have given a foul, but I think the safer thing was to let play go on. But Watford are trying to press really high. As I said before the penalty, they had about 6 or 7 men around the whole box, and they're keeping that high press up. They're trying to play long balls up to Bayer, who's playing striker today, get the knockdowns, and then break fast. And I tell you what, it's going to create goals. Now, the issue is it going to leave them vulnerable at the back and create goals the wrong way for them? Only time will tell. But Watford are growing into the game. They're looking the stronger side. I expect, I don't know, there are going to be goals.
Yeah, it was Asprilla there with the chance of the header chance. Someone who I know you are very fond of. 6 goals in the Championship this season.
He's a special player. He's started a little bit slower this season, I think, compared to most, and he's still young, you've got to remember, but he's just one of those that will create a moment of quality. You could give him the ball and he will create something.
Yeah.
He may not have the output just yet, but that will come with experience, that will come with age. But in the next few years, he will become a star.
Yeah, South American star there. Wickham have taken a 1-goal lead away at Carlisle. Obviously, they are already consigned to relegation to League Two. Seems to be a club that can never get beyond that, a yo-yo club in between League One and League Two. There seems to be that up and down the Football League period. Norwich City, Rotherham, just seem to be too good for one league, but not good enough for another. Callum Bates, you've got your head in your hands. What's happened?
It's all Sheffield United now.
Wow.
They're playing through Burnley with ease. It's Bertrand Diaz again. He's got a one-on-one chance straight at the keeper one more time. And they're in the box. Oh, it's clear. Burnley they look shaky at the moment defensively, like they have all season. And Sheffield United look good for once.
Yeah.
Still 0-0.
Well, let's say the less said about my 4-0 prediction, maybe the better, because it doesn't look like it's panning out that way at the moment. There's been a couple more goals in League Two as well. And they've actually come in the same games. Accrington and Stanley have pulled level against Stockport County, whilst Walsall have doubled their lead over Bradford City. Now, Reece, let's go over to the Cardiff City Stadium again between them and Southampton. Southampton taking that 1-goal lead through Joe Aribo. Are they still on top?
Yeah, I mean, Cardiff have had a handful of weak chances, half chances, little headers, little flicks on that haven't really come to anything. It's all Southampton at the moment. Joe Aribo, managing to get his 4th goal this season earlier on. We're talking about players like Sprilla who have only scored 6, and I do want to ask Kai, maybe the same goes in McBurney as well, who's only scored 6. Is 6 enough? I mean, especially in the Championship, you got someone like Armstrong scoring 20. Is 6 really that special?
No, 6 isn't special on its own, but then I guess you pair it with sort of a shaky season Watford have had. They haven't won at home, I believe, since October.
Wow.
It's a long run they're on. So I think when you look at it, 6 goals for a 19-year-old, is it enough? No, but I think you could easily say if he got 1 or 2 goals and suddenly, it's all relative, isn't it, to the new position.
8 sounds better than 6.
No, of course.
Yeah. But I do think that maybe 6 is a bit too low. When we talk about players like McBurney, we say he scored 6 in the Premier League, and we say, oh, it's all right. And it is a terrible time to be a Sheffield United fan. Let's be completely honest. Awful time to be a Sheffield United fan.
I would argue, if you put it into context, and I don't want to argue here, but 12 goal contributions from a 19-year-old in 41 starts. Yes, could he be having more of an attacking output? Yeah, but as I've said, he's still young. They haven't really got a clinical goal scorer. They got Rakovic.
Yeah, I'm actually going to cut you off, Carl. There seems to be sorry about that, but there seems to be stuff going on in the Premier League. We'll come to you first, Dan. What's happened?
Yeah, the Premier League's bouncing back into action. It was a counter-attack from Brentford after a Luton free kick. It was Reguilon on the left-hand side. His whipped ball into the box to the back post. Lewis Potter with a header, and Flecken magnificently saves it off the line.
Wow.
And palms it up behind for a corner. It's a Brentford corner, but let's obviously go to
Callum, I saw you contorting your face. What happened?
Burnley took the disrespect I was saying very personally, I think. They fought back. It was to be fair, it was a deflected shot, and Sheffield United keeper does pretty well. He gets down quite low. It was straight at him, and either side it's probably a goal. But Burnley's starting to actually play a bit of football now. So still 0-0, just over 20 minutes.
It looks like the game between Walsall and Bradford City is the place to be right now. 2-1 in 19 minutes there, whilst Mansfield have taken a 1 goal down in their game, also in League Two, and that one is against Gillingham. So lots of goals going on around League Two. It's only the 1 goal in the Championship, and I'm sure you're pleased about that one as it stands. Reece, I saw you as well, Kai. Well, let's if something happens, boys, just say it. Interrupt them. There's no rules on this kind of show. If something's happening, cut them off. I saw you contorting your face again. What's going on at Vicarage Road?
Watford had another really good chance on the counter. It was a 3-on-1. Ryan Andrews, who traditionally is a fullback, finds himself on the left flank on the sort of left side of the box. Ball's played to him, gets closed down, plays it back out to Kone on the right, who takes a touch, goes past the defender, and then the pressure just gets to him and it goes straight in the keeper. It was a real big chance, probably their biggest of the game so far. But it's still 0-0.
So somehow still 0-0 there between Watford and Hull City, despite a penalty being saved and seemingly lots more chances as well. We're going to go back over to the sunny Snow Stadium, a nice little oxymoron for you there. Tom Goward is still live reporting between AFC Totton and Merthyr. Tom, as someone who's a Totton fan, tell me what's happened. Can't hear him. Tom, remember, put the voice box back in. Sometimes we can't hear you. Can we go live to Tom? I think we can hear now.
The teams are better. I do think that they are, with the football they play, on their day they're the best team. I do think if they stay in this division, they'll win it next season. But I do think they'll go up.
And what does it mean for you, like the fans, to see a team like this get promoted to, the division below the National League?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I hope one day they do make it into the National League, and I do think they will.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us there.
Thank you.
So yeah, there's not much to report on here at the Snow. Still 0-0. Both teams trying to find the opener here.
Tony Lee to get the first goal. You heard it here first. So AFC Toss is still goalless between them and Merthyr. And once again, Kai, it seems it's all back and forth at Vicarage Road.
I'm loving this. The best chance of the game falls to Tufan on the edge of the box. Just on the 6-yard box. The ball falls to him from a corner. He decides to back heel it.
There's a chance for Watford again.
Watford to just break it. Oh, it's been cleared. So Sierra Alta breaking forward. The centre back can't put a quality ball in, but to be fair, I think you'll let him off.
Yeah, definitely so. Portsmouth seems to be like their after party is still continuing. Looks like they're still drunk. 1 goal down at home to Wigan Athletic. Shame really that we've said it before how League One. There's so many fantastic teams in League One. I know it's going to pain you to say, Reece, but the likes of Portsmouth and Derby and Bolton and Wigan. Go back 15 years. These all 4 sides are in the Premier League.
It won't pain me to say because I'm not going to say anything about Portsmouth. But Wigan, the likes of those and Bolton, and in honesty, Portsmouth as well, clubs with huge followings, and you go to one of those stadiums, you see the fans, you can't do anything but respect them. Especially when you saw the pitch invasion, some really dodgy scenes in Portsmouth after the game. But that passion, the fact that the entire city embodies the team spirit, is brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I saw, Callum, something going on at Bramall Lane.
Yeah, Burnley break again, hitting them on the counter a few times now. It's a pass played through from Sander Berge, and Bryn Larson goes round the keeper, but the angle's way too tight, and it's hit the side netting. But it's getting a bit even now, and still 0-0 coming up to 25 minutes.
Yeah, Bryn Larson, another player brought in from Hoffenheim. He hasn't really got going, scored some fantastic goals, as we said, one of which against Luton Town. From outside the box, curled it into the far corner. Daniel Baverstock, speak to me. Has there been a goal?
Yeah, Brentford have just taken the lead here away at Luton Town at Kenilworth Road. It's Johan Wisser, his 9th Premier League goal this season, and what a finish it was. The ball was pelted forward by Janelt, and Buemo picks it up around 40 yards out. Drives towards the box, releases Visser, and Visser unleashes a brilliant shot outside the box away from Mark Flecken's reach in the top right-hand corner. It's 1-0 to Brentford around 24 minutes played.
Yeah, Visser really coming of age in the absence of Ivan Toney, but we're going to swap the boots for the bats as we go over to Josh Stewart at the Ageas Bowl. Josh, what's going on? Have Hampshire come back against Warwickshire?
Great finish.
Well, I don't admit to being a cricket fan, but it doesn't look too positive there, and I can't even fill in. But it looks as though Josh may be back. Can we go back to him?
Innings taken out Ali Orr by LBW. But Middleton has managed to make his way up to 20 runs so far, facing 52 balls.
Let's go back to the football actually, because it doesn't seem like the Utilita Bowl really likes us very much. Charlton have gone 1-0 down at home to Shrewsbury. Another really dire season for the Addicts. They seem to be plummeting down, but luckily for them, they will remain in League One. Still no more goals to inform you about across the Championship or League Two. Obviously, all the National League games kicked off at midday today. That season is all wrapped up. And whilst Dan was talking us through a goal against Brentford, I don't mean to be, I'm not favouritising Kai, he just seems to be the magnet attracting all of the action at Vicarage Road. And Watford, maybe with nothing really to play for, is that just giving them a little bit more licence to roam?
It's that sort of, you just get to play football, which I think anyone wants to do. Bayo found himself free, outstrengths the whole defender and is running down the right-hand side, and he stops and he waits for the pass. And the pass is there, and he waits again, and he waits, and he waits, and it lets every whole player get back and defend, and the chance comes to nothing. They need to be a bit more clinical in that final third. Even if it's a ball to the edge of the box, just to create the opportunity, but they just need to speed it up. Somehow still 0-0.
Yeah, I want to apologise straight away over to Dan, because Sholing have taken a 1-goal lead against Swindon Supermarine. I told him with a fair bit of confidence that Swindon Supermarine would get the win there over the Boatmen, but it might not look to be that way. Showing coming off the back of a 1-0 loss to Walton and Hersham, but looking to bounce back and get away from that dreaded drop zone. It's a really, really tight drop zone in the Southern Premier Division South. You've got Hayes and Yeading down there, Harrow are down there, Hanwell, but Sholing looking to just climb a little bit higher so they can stay out of that zone. I'm actually going to come to you quickly, Dan. How have Luton responded since going 1-0 down?
Yeah, it's end-to-end stuff now. Luton had a glorious chance just a few moments to go. Jordan Clark on the left-hand side of the box released Chong, but his shot blazed well over the bar. And now Brentford have had another counter-attack, Visser going close again. So it's really livened up here. Luton trying to find this equaliser, but Brentford don't seem to be allowing that too much.
Yeah, with Visser and Mbeumo, does that just give them another dynamic? I mean, they're forced to play a different way with the absence of Ivan Toney. Do they seem a little bit more energetic and effervescent, really?
It's a tough one to say because obviously Mbeumo has been out for a little while. He hasn't really featured too often, and I think that's what they've been missing recently. Brentford, especially not scoring too much, but I mean they've looked incredibly lively as well. And even Lewis Potter, who obviously you said earlier on, hasn't really had a look in at all since moving from Stoke, I believe. So it's Luton obviously trying their best to find this equaliser.
Yeah, it has been an equaliser. It's the game between Carlisle and Wickham, I should say. So more goals going in there around the grounds. It's a shame really that we've only got 2 Premier League games in action and they're both at the bottom end of the table, and that's because of the FA Cup. You've got Manchester United facing Coventry City later on, and Chelsea will look to put Manchester City, if they can, to the sword after they crashed out of the Champions League. We've actually got a Manchester United fan on the panel today. I mean, Man United, they've had a torrid season. There's no escaping that kind of, but surely they can reach the final and have another game at Wembley.
It's not that simple. It's not that simple. You'd think it would be an easy game for United, but no. I think it's probably going to be equally as hard if they play Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing they struggle with is breaking teams down. I think if they are playing maybe even a Liverpool again, they'll just sit back and, let's be honest, hope they miss chances, because that's the style of play Man United have these days under Erik ten Hag. I think they'll have enough, but I do think they'll probably lose in the final to either team. And
we'll stretch that out, Manchester City and Chelsea. Dan, Chelsea on a great run of form, 8 games unbeaten in the Premier League. Manchester City, whilst they've been doing fantastically around the Premier League, looks like, you don't want to tempt fate, that they might lift the Premier League trophy for a record 4th successive time. Will they have too much firepower against Chelsea?
Yeah, I think it's quite inevitable, but you do have to sort of make the note that it's been a draw both times in the league.
Yeah, of course.
4-4 and 1-1, home and away. So Chelsea have a good chance. They've got nothing to lose anymore.
No.
I mean, potential European spot is still on. Obviously, Cole Palmer firing them in at the moment. Same amount of goals as Haaland in the Premier League this season. So yeah, they've got nothing to lose. They're going to be all guns blazing. I'm expecting a tight game, but ultimately, I think Manchester City are going to get the job done.
Yeah, it looks as though it looks that way. There's been another goal in the Southern League against 2 teams in and about the relegation battle. Harrow Borough have taken a 1-goal lead at home to Devon's Tiverton Town, who the torrential rainfall that we've had over the past few months has really put really difficult for Tiverton and the teams down there like Plymouth Parkway, Truro and Cornwall as well. They've had to play, to put it into perspective, Tiverton and Plymouth Parkway in Devon have had to play all the way up in Yates in Gloucestershire for their home games. That's how bad. And on one occasion for Plymouth Parkway against Yates, even they couldn't get the game on. So it seems as though it's really difficult for them. They've got to play 6 games in the next 14 days, I believe, Plymouth Parkway. So it's going to be really difficult for them to squeeze all of them in. Right, any more updates going on in League One and the Championship? It doesn't look that way. Portsmouth still 1 goal down at home to Wigan. Derby will be looking to get automatic promotion, like we said, over to the Championship. And with the goals, with the scorelines at the moment, in League One, all they'll need to do is find that all-important breakthrough against Cambridge. Still 0-0 there between those 2 sides. There's been another goal in League Two. Morecambe are 1-0 up against Forest Green. I'm going to stop there, Reece.
Massive chance missed as Shea Adams goes 1-on-1. Joe Aribo using his body to shield the ball off of a throw-in, sort of about 20 yards away from the Cardiff goal. It's Joe Aribo who actually slips, and as he slips, his knee taps it through to David Brooks, who threads through Shea Adams on goal. And Shea Adams, muscled off the ball a bit, sends his way wide. Not enough power on it anyway to beat the keeper if it was to be on target. But yeah, Southampton in the driving seat, and it's so good the way they can just control games and slow them down. 33 minutes played, Southampton lead 1-0.
Yes, that's still the only goal in the Championship. Looks as though we can go over to the Wessex League in the 10th tier of the English football pyramid. That's the Wessex League Division 1, where Fleetlands play host to Forley. That's the Liddell Lane in Gosport. Ethan Green is on location. Ethan, what's going on over there?
Yeah, thanks for that, Ollie. Yeah, I'm here at Fleetlands against Forley in the Wessex League Division 1 game, and yeah, so far it's been a good game. Fleetlands are in the lead. They scored in the 28th minute after their striker slotted one home simply after a falling mistake. And it seems they've got 2-0 up. Okay, Fleetlands have just scored the second of the game from a corner that wasn't defended well by Forley, so it's 2-0 now to Fleetlands. Yeah, good we got that live. Yeah, great start for Fleetlands, or heading towards the playoffs. So yeah, 2-0 now to Fleetlands. Yeah, thank you in the studio.
Yeah, Fleetlands in 7th spot in the Wessex League Division 1, Forley in 11th. But I think you might have seen with our panellists, Reece, something. Tell me through what happened at the Cardiff City Stadium.
So David Brooks, always ever pressing. He's done really, really well to run in from the right wing all the way into the box and press the keeper. The ball's been played back, a loose pass. He manages to actually round the keeper, so he's through on an open goal. But as a defender's on the line, he tries to curl the ball round. Wow. He takes a bit of a step over, and instead of shooting, he tries to dribble it in.
Oh my goodness.
It's taking too long, and now it allows the keeper to get back to his feet, run in another dive. He takes out David Brooks, and Brooks goes down. We're seeing a replay now. He's really latching onto a loose ball. The keeper's made a really bad touch, and then Brooks makes an absolute meal of it because the keeper does take him out and hits back first, but he gets the ball first. So before David Brooks, who's through on goal with about 5 seconds to spare at an open net, before he can put his foot through it, the keeper's got back up and taken it off him. Really, really weird from the Bournemouth loanee. Just had too much thought into it.
Well, it's like he needs to put the PlayStation controller down, stop playing FIFA, just put the ball in the back of the net, David.
It's a classic FIFA where you try and fake shot past the keeper. He just needs to put his foot through it,
Of course. Callum, I saw something going on there between Sheffield United and Burnley. Are either team making a breakthrough?
There was another missed chance from Ollie McBurney. It gets into very good positions. It's Hammer on the right hand side. He just plays him through. To be fair, it is a tight angle this time, but again, straight at the goalkeeper. It's still 0-0, and Ollie McBurney's probably been the most bright spot for Sheffield United. But yeah, 35 minutes gone, still 0-0.
Reading have pulled a goal back away at Burton Albion. Lewis Swing, who I know you're very fond of, Kai, for the Royals. Yeah, he is. He's made it 2-1. There's still no goals in the Championship to inform you about. Dan, still 1-0 in the game between Brentford and Luton. If Luton can't beat Brentford at home, is that a sign that maybe they don't have enough in this league?
Yeah, it looks that way. Just an injury here. Kabore looks to be coming off. He's just come back after obviously missing the Manchester City game due to it being his parent club, but yeah, he's limping off, and that's going to be a huge miss because he's him and Dirty on the wing backs, either flank, are such a huge, vital sort of presence for them of how they attack and how they sort of go forward. He looks to be coming off. His head's in his hands, and yeah, he's looking rather miserable as he sort of limps off the side. Fred Onyedima is coming on for only his 5th Premier League appearance, so let's see how he does. He'll probably slot in at that right wing back position. Not sure if they're going to change system as of yet, but going back to your question, I think if they don't get something from this game, it's going to look rather bleak considering Brentford's form. 1 win in 10 it is for Brentford, so you'd think sort of a match-up against today's team would sort of be a lifeline for Luton, but at the moment they're 1-0 down, 35 minutes gone. Yeah,
it does look rather dire for Luton. It's Salisbury have taken a 1-goal lead away at Hazen Yedding, that's at the Raymax Stadium, and Poole Town a 1-goal up at home to Didcot, who are already relegated at the Black Goal. Let's once again swap the boots for the bats, as I said earlier. We'll go over to Josh Stewart, who's at the Utilita Bowl, Hampshire versus Warwickshire.
Yes. Unfortunately, the elements decided just to interrupt my last update, so we'll give it another go. And unfortunately, I think Hampshire will also be willing to give it another go, considering they are still over 400 runs down. They've just reached 40-1. The current partnership of Governors and Middleton has managed to reach 24, but it's very, very slow going. Cameron Dalby has got the only wicket so far, taken out Adior by LBW, but since then it has been dot after dot after dot. as Warwickshire are just improving and improving as the day goes on. The sun is slowly starting to fade away, and perhaps along with it, Hampshire's hopes have finally made it to the media centre, having been quite lost in this maze of a stadium. As you can see, there's plenty of sport still going on. The skies are still blue, but that wind is doing nothing to take Warwickshire off their stride.
Well, thank you very much there, Josh. There's been a few more goals in League Two. Barrow have taken a 1-goal lead away, and Doncaster has been a goal. Callum Bates, Bramall Lane, which way has it gone?
It's gone to Burnley. Your prediction is still on. I don't really know who scored. It's a scruffy effort, and I don't want to be too harsh on the keeper here, but I do think it's a mistake. It's near post, and it just creeps under him. I will get the goal scorer for you.
I think it's Brune Larson.
Brune Larson. Company looks absolutely buzzing with that. And Sheffield United, I would say, have been the better side, but Burnley have taken the lead 1-0 just before the 40th minute mark.
That could have huge implications at the bottom of the Premier League table. Like I said, Burnley 6 points off the safety. That would make it 3 points, and Jacob Brune Larson, the Danish international, putting the Clarets 1 goal up away at Sheffield United. So maybe, fingers crossed, guys, I might look like a clairvoyant and it might finish 4-0 to Burnley, but who knows. Here on this Solent Sports News Soccer Saturday, we've had lots of goals going in. I think, am I correct in saying we've all had a goal apart from Kai McKenzie? It really seemed like he had the biggest shoe in of all, having that penalty saved by Daniel Backman. Ozan Tufan from 12 yards out just couldn't find the back of the net. So still 0-0 in the game there. And I think, lots of Premier League action going on around the grounds. Derby County have taken a 1-goal lead away at Cambridge. So as it stands, they will be being promoted to the Championship. Both them and Pompey will be the two sides that find their way back into the Championship. So whilst it's 4 confirmed at the start of the day, it may be 5 fairly soon. Tranmere have also taken a 1-goal lead at home to Wimbledon. And Southampton, are they still on top? Does it look like they're going to double their lead, Reece?
Yeah, so they've had several chances. Shadham's had another one after missing that one earlier and put it straight down the keeper's throat. So it's good from Southampton, but they haven't done much more to bother Ethan Horvath, the American keeper. He's conceded 20 goals in 14 games now, including this one. He's never saved a championship penalty. Will that come into play later on? Let's see. But honestly, it's interesting because Southampton are a team that can really counter so quickly, and they're actually coming forward now through Brooks, who puts it into Stuart Armstrong. He doesn't get the shot away, it's tackled. So yeah, they're a team that can counter so quick, but yeah, they haven't quite managed to make the most of it yet.
Now I want to talk about that goalkeeper situation. There's been a lot of talk of whether Bazunu is fit or is good enough to be a Southampton goalkeeper. With this long-term injury that he's got, we've heard it could be anything between 10 and 14 months. Will that mean that the owners have to go into their pockets and buy a new keeper in the summer?
Absolutely. I think that the way it's going to go, you saw this last summer as well, from the likes of even Nathan Teller, who's gone to Leverkusen.
It's 2-0 at Bramall Lane, Callum Bates.
It's the right back.
I think it's Assignon with the goal.
Assignon, yeah. It's I think it's actually another deflected shot that's just creeped in at his near post again. I don't think I look back on the first goal, I don't think it was to blame. I think it's quite unlucky. But this one, good dribbling into the box, and he's just put his foot through it, and it's gone bottom corner.
Keeper's got a touch to it. I was just peering over my shoulder there. Keeper's got a touch to it. I think he should save it.
Is it Ivo Gerbic in goal for Sheffield United today?
Yeah.
It is Gerbic. He hasn't seemed to really endear himself to the Blades fans.
Getting a replay. Here we go.
Whether it's the right decision or the wrong decision, we seem to make a name of ourselves in Solent Sports News about racing food. And we can do it again over to Loftus Road. Alex Isaacs and Jamie Hale, who I believe you've got some, we call it lunchtime scran at 4:45?
Yeah, I was going to say.
So guys, you are joined back with us on the concourse at Loftus Road. Jamie's scranning his chips. Jamie, what did you get, mate?
I've got some beautiful cheesy chips, and I'm not going to lie, they are incredible. If you imagined going along the strip in Southampton, these are on JJ's fish and chips level because they're that good.
Not quite Zorbas though.
Oh, not quite Zorbas.
Not quite Zorbas. But I wouldn't want to get them from Romeo's either.
I was about to say, yeah, one star from them. Not good. So, Alex, what have you got in your hands?
What have I got, Jamie? Well, so this here is the pie I got in the press area. Right, it's just your standard
Alex,
steak pie.
We know what steak pie is. Do you want to just try it and tell the difference between the press box and the normal concourse?
Brilliant, cheers, mate.
Give it a go, boys. Give it a go.
Yeah. So, and it's got a little QPR badge on this one. I'm going to give both a go now.
So the press one first.
This is the press one.
And okay, tell us about it. How good is it?
Lovely meat in there. Good texture.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Okay, now try the normal.
And this is the pucker. Let me get my food down there.
Hurry up!
This is the pucker pie one. Oh, a bit hot, but it's lovely.
It's incredibly hot. And just something else as well. We're actually about 5 metres away from exactly where I saw the QPR players, and I'm pretty sure they were giving us a disgusted look because I'm eating some of the greatest food, and they're having to play on this beautiful pitch. I think I know which one I prefer, guys.
So, Asmir Begovic has just stared us down, eating a pucker pie. But, yeah.
Other than that, nothing else to say other than the pies are incredible.
Other than the food. But yeah, we'll be back with some team news very shortly.
Yeah,
but back in the studio now.
Well, gents, as Gary Neville says, stick to football. I think leave the culinary advice to other people. But it was quite enjoyable for us in the studio seeing you eating that. But whilst we made a name for us eating, we've also got a little bit of drinking. If you can cast your mind back to Romsey last season when Emma Calliou downed a pint, Jack Bunklock is going to look to replicate that. He's gone across the county from Eastleigh to AFC Totton at the Snows. Go on, Jack.
So, last time you came to me, Ollie, not much had gone on here at the game and still not much has happened here at the Snow Stadium. But Jack has hot-footed it from Eastleigh here and he got to me and he came in straight away and he said, I'm gagging for a beer. And he's got a beer now. So, Jack, you said you could down it on air and I said, we've done this before. Can you do it again?
You can't embarrass yourself.
Go for it.
Go on. Go on. Look at the gullet. Oh. Look at the gullet.
Nice and cold.
Jack's had his beer. The most entertaining thing that's happened so far here at the Snow Stadium. Literally, I have nothing to report for you. The ball just goes into the Merthyr box. But yeah, so that's cheered my spirits up a little bit. We're going to send Jack around at half-time and in the second half to speak to some of the Merthyr fans as well. So join us then for the second half here at the Snows.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jack, that was impressive. Look at the gullet on him. You can tell he's done that a fair few times before for the Solent football team. That seems like every Wednesday night, that seems to be the common theme there. A few more goals to tell you about across the leagues. Stoke have taken a 1-goal lead at home to Plymouth through John Hoover. But Dan, you've got your head in your hands.
Yeah, Bournemouth just hit the bar. It was a counter-attack again from Brentford, who seemed to just be getting the joy from that. Luton sort of seemed to be controlling possession, but when Brentford go forward, they look so dangerous. Every time they go forward, they seem to look like scoring. Yeah, it was a curled shot from just inside the penalty area and it hit the bar. Bounced back to Lewis Potter, but he couldn't do anything with that shot. So yeah, Brentford looking the more likely to actually extend their lead rather than Luton trying to get an equaliser at the moment.
Yeah, like we were saying, it looks as though Mbeumo and Wissa both at the forefront of that. Callum, Burnley 2-0 up against Bramall Lane. Could it be more?
It could be more, yeah, it could be more. It was Lara Foster on the volley this time. He's blazed it over, but Burnley have just kicked into another gear. They're showing similarities to the side you saw last season in the Champ with the football they're playing at the moment. And Sheffield United look very low on confidence now. We've conceded them 2 goals. And I've seen the goals back. I think there are 2 mistakes from the keeper. So, yeah, we're just 2 minutes left in this half with a 2-0 Burnley.
Thank you very much, Colin. A few more goals to tell you about in League One. There was an earlier kick-off between Northampton and Exeter. 10-man Exeter 2-1 up at Sixfields. Peterborough have taken a 1-goal lead away at Bristol Rovers, so Derby's promotion party might just have to take a backseat role for now. Burton have once again doubled their lead at home to Reading. It's now 3-1 there, and it's a 1-1 between Cheltenham and Lincoln City. I've heard that Jack actually, whilst he was over at Eastleigh, he is a part of the Eastleigh media team, managed to get a little bit of insight from the players at the end of the season. I believe Chris Maguire is one of them he interviewed, former Sunderland man, you may remember. So let's go live to see what they had to say about the Eastleigh season.
We wanted to make it a bit better, go away into the summer with a win, but it wasn't to be. They were playing for something to get into the playoffs and probably for the Lions deserved their win in the end. Disappointing, obviously, way to end the season, but one that we're safe and we know we'll be back next season.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it wasn't the result that you wanted today. There's been some great moments this year, especially your penalty against Newport. How magical was that FA Cup run?
Yeah, it was good, and hopefully we can do that next year again and try and go one stage further again. So that was a good moment for myself and for the club, obviously. Just one game short of getting the biggest club in the world to the Silver Lake, but no, it's exciting. That's what the FA Cup brings, and it's one that we'll look forward to next season.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you've got a summer break now. You looking forward to relaxing, or is it not quite like that?
No, it'll be good to get back home and go home and be dad. Go back to my two little boys, and it'll be football over the summer for them. So it'll be me watching them this time. So no, I'm looking forward to going away and get a holiday in between.
Thank you for your time, Chris. Enjoy your summer.
Cheers.
Back to you in the studio. So we're here with Chris Millington, the Halifax Town manager. So Chris, a 3-0 win at Eastleigh, how was that?
Yeah, it was good. Very pleased with the lads. I think performance was professional. There were an awful lot of spinning plates in terms of things we had to face and manage, and obviously the other various outcomes that were possible with Aldershot and Southend results. So there was an awful lot to think about and prepare for, but ultimately our objective was to keep the players fresh, energised and focused on the job in hand, and the lads were fantastic in the way they approached it.
And John Hart, of course, was going into the playoffs. It was an emphatic victory. Just how pleased are you with that?
Yeah, delighted. I mean, we were quite open about our objectives at the beginning of the season. We felt we had a group strong enough to be able to get in the playoffs. I feel that we could have finished higher for maybe some adversity that we faced, but we made an agreement between staff and players that we wouldn't make excuses. So, the truth is that we've achieved our goal, and we have done it in the face of some challenges. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, doesn't it? So we go into the playoffs in a really strong place.
Of course, you said challenges there. You had an immense week. This is your 4th game in the week. Just how hard was that?
Yeah, it was a challenge, but I think what's been really impressive, even playing Oldham on Thursday night, just 40 hours ago, we played Oldham, and the lads have maintained a level of freshness. They've maintained a level of energy where we finished strong against Oldham. That was the 3rd game that we had in a short space of time, and this is the 4th game in that week. And they've maintained that ability to go for 90 minutes against Oldham. We were the team pushing at the end and creating chances. And again today, you wouldn't know which team was the team who played 4 games in a week. You'd maybe think it was the opposition. We were energetic, hard-working, and the great thing that's come out of it is the players have got a renewed steel and determination, and also they've demonstrated an ability to go and go again and go again. And it's not been one single challenge that we've not been able to overcome yet. So we go again.
Well, congratulations in getting into the playoffs, and the best of luck with the postseason. That's great. Thank you. Cheers.
Top man.
Well, my legs have got a much needed stretch, and I stand up and joined today, delighted to be joined by Raul Martinez Cosuera. I hope I said that okay. He's actually our Spanish correspondent for today. You've written lots of pieces around Spanish football, most notably the racism experienced by Vinicius Junior. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we are working on hate speech in football, especially in the last years, and one part is racist or machismo, in football, women's football, okay. And in the case of the racists in Spain, and in the case of Vinicius Junior, one of the questions is the importance that in the last year is having this fight against racism in the football. Finally, or not, we want to start this fight against racism in Spain, and it seems that on the La Liga and the football teams and the players too, and the fans are accepting that we are having a problem with racism in the football in Spain, really.
Well, in England, lots is being done to tackle racism and to tackle sexism in football.
Yeah.
Is that happening in Spain as well?
we are in the first steps, accepting that we are having a problem. No?
Yeah.
In relation, for example, in comparison with the Premier, no, with the Premier League, we can see that the Premier is working on sensible awareness and fighting or awareness with the fans, with the football players too, and if there are education with in schools, no. And if this doesn't work, then to do applications to inform about, to report against racism, no? And this is something that we are at the first steps, accepting this problem, having the problem, because with the the racism in Spain for a long time, we are having a great problem, and especially in the case that we are studying the situation with the media. No? The media for a long time they are accepting that racism is not racist. So, and we are in this situation, and probably Vinicius Junior. Yes, one year ago, it happened something that is okay. Let's go to change. Yeah. But here the question is that Vinicius Junior and the Real Madrid are
together.
Yeah. But against the rest of the football, and then the rest of the clubs, they say, well, you are a good person, but not so good person.
Yeah. Okay.
No? And then this is something that we are fighting actually.
Well, I have to say, well, on behalf of everyone here at Solent University, it's a brilliant work that you're doing, raising awareness for such a terrible thing that seeps not only in football, but also across the whole world. So thank you very much. We're going to try and get a little bit more football action, because I know there's been a lot of stuff going on. So if we can come back down, let's go over back to Kenilworth Road, and then probably about 5 minutes ago, Dan, there's been a goal.
Yeah, it's 2-0 to Brentford. It was horrific defending by Reece Burke, it was. The ball was whipped in by and Burmo again, so it's them two linking up, and it's Visser who finally tapped it in. But yeah, the ball came across the edge of the 6-yard area. It was kind of half cleared by Burke, and then he tried to flick it with the back of his heel, but at the end of it, it ended with at Visser's feet, and he just slotted it past Kaminsky. So it's 2-0. Luton seem to be down and out of this, but let's see what they can do after the second half.
Yeah, looking good for Brentford out there in Bedfordshire. We're going to go a little bit lower, much lower really, in the Southern League, where Nathan Potter, our Winchester correspondent, is going to tell us what's been going on at the Charters Community Stadium up against Beaconsfield Town. Any goals to tell us about, Nathan?
Charlie, are you there?
Winchester City 0, Beaconsfield Town 0. Winchester City have had the better chances throughout the first half, haven't been able to find a breakthrough to break the deadlock, and that's it for now pretty much. Winchester City 0, Beaconsfield Town 0.
So both sides still looking for the breakthrough. There's been a few more goals in the Southern League. Walton Hirschman's taken a 1-goal lead away at Plymouth Parkway, whilst Dorchester, high-flying Dorchester, it has to be said, one loss in their last 17 games. They actually find themselves 1 goal down against Basingstoke. So, and a few more goals to tell you about in the Championship. Stoke have doubled their lead at home to Plymouth Argyle. That's one of our Super 6 fixtures. Looks as though we might all get that one wrong, unfortunately. League One, Blackpool have taken a 2-goal lead at home to Barnsley. A little bit of a shock there. Derby still 1-0 up. Still 1-0 up away at Cambridge. And now, actually, we're going to try and incorporate our fans a little bit more on, and, has to be said, our panellists as well. We've got a new segment, which is the mystery players. So we're going to give you 3 clues, stagnate them a little bit to see if you can all play along with us. But if our panellists beat you to it, then I'm afraid that's just tough luck. So let's see if we can find the first clue for our mystery player, please. See if we can get it in. If we can't get it, I'll hopefully be able to say it to you. Any time now. I'm sure I can see it being loaded up. It should be any second now, our mystery player. It doesn't seem like it is going to be nice today, but I think I might just have to tell you. There it is, just in front of us. Our mystery player today, guys. He has won 10 league titles in 4 different countries. So you can pick your brain a little bit there. I don't expect you to get it off the first guess. Who were you thinking there, Kai? You were counting with your fingers.
I was counting Coman, but obviously that's 3 leagues.
Kingsley Coman won it, obviously, with Juventus, Bayern Munich and PSG. It doesn't seem like anyone's going to get it there. Can we get maybe the second clue in a half? It's half-time across lots of games, so it doesn't seem like that's going to any of our panellists, or maybe if you've got it at home, then fair play to you, well done if you can get it from that clue, but we don't really expect one. Now this one might be a little bit better. This player has been on loan at a club where one of our live reporters is covering today. So if you've been paying attention today, we've got lots of team reporters out on location. That could be as low as Fleetlands against Fawley, or that could be as high with QPR against Preston. We've got Totton against Merthyr. We've got Winchester against Beaconsfield. I'm sure there are probably 2 clubs in there that you'll probably be looking at a little bit more. So 10 league titles, Dan, you look absolutely...
Well, I was originally thinking Ibrahimovic, but I don't think he's been on loan at Tottenham.
He's not been on loan at Tottenham, but you didn't ask him if he's been on loan at Merthyr. He's been around the countries.
Might have been, but I
No, he hasn't.
My guess.
Here we go.
I was floating, but I don't. The second clue's thrown me off. Shinji Kagawa was the name I was thinking.
It's not Shinji Kagawa. It's not a bad
He's
guess.
been at United. He's been Dortmund. I believe he was there.
Maybe in Japan as well.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, if you've managed to get it at home, then very well done to you. We decided to give you clues that you wouldn't be too easy, but might be able to pick your brain. See if you can work out just at the back of your skull if you've got any hidden football knowledge. So let's give you the last clue, and I think it might be fastest finger first for the 4 panellists in the Solent studios today, because this one might be big. Here we go. He has famously scored from the halfway line in the Premier League.
Oh,
David Beckham. Callum just beat you to it, Dan. Callum, I think, just nonchalantly just saying, obviously David Beckham, but no, absolutely correct. David Beckham, 10 league titles for Paris Saint-Germain, LA Galaxy, Real Madrid, and of course Manchester United. The loan spell came again at Preston North End. Only I think the 5 or the 6 games there, scoring twice whilst he was on loan at Manchester United. And of course that goal against Wimbledon from the halfway line. And I think what's so interesting about that, following the David Beckham documentary, is the spike in halfway line attempts across the Football League pyramid, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, very well done if you managed to get that at home. Hopefully that was exciting. And if you did manage to get it, make sure to put the hashtag Solent Soccer Saturday. We'll see if we can, if you can get it in there quickly, we'll try and repost it. And that's as much credit as you can get, really. We're not giving any monetary prizes or any tangible prizes, just a little bit of pride. So very well done to you if you managed to get that. So it's half-time in all of the games. Kai, you couldn't get a goal in Porto and Inter. Somehow you've not got a goal in Watford against Hull City. Who's on top?
It's been very even. As I said earlier, it was going to be an even game. You can't really call it. Both sides having really good chances. It's a bit of a shame the game sort of fell off in the 30th minute or so with these fouls being thrown in, just not really allowing the game to get back up to speed and progress. But 2 very interesting sides here, both with quality to go on and win the game. It's just whether they can unlock that.
Yeah, Hull will need that win far more than the Hornets. We're going to go back over to our cricket correspondent for the day, Josh Stewart. You may recognise his face from being in Denmark at the back end of last year. Hampshire against Warwickshire. Hampshire still yet to bat. Josh, have you got any updates for us?
20 miles away. Yeah, it's a little warmer than it was at Denmark, but it was also pretty windy here, which is probably quite even. We are now at the tea break here at the Utilita Bowl with Hampshire on 45 for 1 as they went into the break. It's very slow going, but there's plenty of cricket still to be played over today and the next 2 days. So there's still some hope here for the home side. Hannon Dalby, of course, taking the only wicket so far, an LBW call on Ali. Or we arrived and saw the end of the Warwick's innings. They finished on 455 all out, but Middleton and Gubbins, the 2 at the crease for Hampshire, are very slowly making inroads. They've got a partnership of 29, so the home crowd will be hoping that they will be able to keep it going and hopefully remain just a 1 out before the end of play today.
Yeah, let's certainly hope so, Josh. And lots of talk this summer. It's a fantastic summer for sport, really. We've got the Olympics coming up, but more importantly for you football fans, we've got the Euros in Germany. And now we've asked our panellists to pick one player who may make the England squad that perhaps won't, and one player that we think shouldn't make the England squad. We're going to start closest to the left of me with Kai McKenzie. Now, Kai, one player to make the England squad. Tell me about this. Tell me about Adam Wharton.
Yeah, a bit of a rogue shout, I know, but I think with the inclusion of Kobe Minor in the last couple of weeks, it's sort of opened that door to the inexperience. I mean, we've seen it before with Theo Walcott. You know, this kid gets the English World Cup. So I believe that I think he's good enough for you. I believe it's 10 appearances he's made this, so far for Palace. Obviously signed from Blackburn in January. I just think he's got that. Again, we were talking about it earlier about like gut feeling, and you can just tell when a player is going to be a good player, and he's got that quality. I'll go to the Liverpool game because it's the most recent game I've seen. The composure and the calmness for a 20-year-old kid to be able just to go up against a title challenger, a team that's pushing in Europe, that's at the forefront of world football, and to be able to just be so composed, to take turns on the halfway line, ping the ball. He was insane, and I think he'd be a much-needed addition to Southgate's squad.
Yeah, I was certainly thoroughly impressed. Just plays with so much composure, so much calmness on the ball. What I was really noticed in the 85th minute, they've got backs against the wall. He just pivots and pirouettes against the players. But you just mentioned the Liverpool game, an ex-Liverpool player that you think shouldn't make the squad. Tell me about him.
Jordan Henderson, as good as he's been for England, and I think, and I'm talking purely on a footballing reason, Jordan Henderson should not be called up to the England squad. However, I think there's the case that he's sort of a leader, is sort of the assistant captain in the team. I know Harry Kane's there; he's the captain that leads by example on the pitch. Henderson's one more that motivates you, and we will see him get called up. But he's obviously at Ajax at the moment. He's played 6 games for them in the league, 3 in the Europa League. He hasn't been great. No. He's getting criticised by the Danish media. The Dutch media. Sorry. To the point where you sit there, and this isn't a good Ajax side either. We're looking at a side that is struggling with their 6th currently, and he's not. He should be shining.
No, he could be a leader in the dressing room. That's like a character. But let's move on to Reece's prediction now. A little bit of a common occurrence going with who shouldn't make the England squad, but we've now got someone who Reece has said should make the England squad, and I'm sure there's one reason for that. Reece, tell me why James Ward-Prowse should be in that 23-man.
I completely agree that we shouldn't see Henderson. Okay, I think you're right. Only 6 games, right, in Ajax, so he doesn't play enough. Southgate doesn't care about that, but he doesn't play enough. But I'm not following you on your little Football Manager fantasy. Say Adam Wharton just because he's got high potential ability. Because why would you? He's not even the best young midfielder when you've got Kobbie Mainoo as an option. He's not even the best young midfielder, let alone the best midfielder. Go for Ward-Prowse, who's played every single game for West Ham in the Premier League. Free kick versatility. And I'm going to come out and say the most reliable player in the football pyramid across all leagues. He can play anywhere across the midfield. Good defensively. He's played there for Ralph Hasenhüttl. Give him the creative freedom like he was under Ruben Selles, and he can really shine as a playmaker. He's even played right back for Hasenhüttl when we had none at Southampton. So I think Adam Wharton, he's got a great future, but with the under-23s for now.
I mean, I think what epitomises James Ward-Prowse's set-piece abilities the most is the fact he scored from a corner in his last game.
And if Trippier is injured and not quite match fit and ready for the Euros, it depends how it is, you lose suddenly that free kick ability. I don't want to see Rashford or Kane take another one after what we saw before.
Do you echo his thoughts about Jordan Henderson?
I do. I think he's not sharp enough and he's too old for it. I agree that you need experience and you need someone. And Ward-Prowse, while he was the captain for Southampton for a while, another player that leads by example on the pitch, so not necessarily a big figure in the dressing room. So maybe you do lose that if Henderson goes. But he's got an average of 0.29 assists per 90 in the Premier League. That's better than 98% of Premier League midfielders.
I do agree with your point. He's such a versatile, important player. But do you really see him starting over the likes of Bellingham? Even Foden in midfield can prove as a talent. And Mainoo and Rice. We've got so many more players that can play over him. James Maddison as well.
I agree. I don't see him starting. I'm just saying I think he does deserve to be in the squad. And that's a good point you make. I'm not saying by any means, any stretch of the imagination, that Ward-Prowse is the first name on the team sheet.
You'd like him to?
I would. I'd love to see him there. But Jude Bellingham, talent undeniable. Declan Rice playing at the highest level in the Premier League. So no, I don't think he starts. But if you're chasing a goal in the last few minutes, or you're in extra time and you've got tired legs, you want to bring on someone that can play. The natural fitness on this guy is insane. Played every single game. Yeah, good penalty taker. But he's made all appearances for West Ham in the Premier League. So he's someone that you're going to be able to sub on. He's going to be fit no matter what.
Well, Dan, you've got lots of thoughts about the England squad. Harry Kane is obviously going to be on the plane. There's no doubt about that. And it looks like Ollie Watkins is having a decent season as well. But there may be one more striker slot, and that is fueled your opinions for these ones.
Yeah.
Why Dominic Solanke over Ivan Toney?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a toss-up between Toney and Solanke. I think everyone's got a different opinion to who they want to see in that team. Yeah. Solanke, 17 Premier League goals this season, has set an absolute well, he's the record Bournemouth goal scorer in the Premier League for most goals in one season.
Yep.
And then Tony obviously coming back from his 9-month bet, injured right now, got a hip injury, not playing consistently. Do you really want that sort of player in the England squad, maybe coming off the bench? Yes, he is an impactful player, but I think Solanke can offer so much more in his general approach play.
Yeah, potentially, and form it just means so much when you get into the back end of the season. I think Solanke's shown it over the course of the season. So certainly, I wouldn't raise my eyebrows if Solanke was preferred over Ivan Toney. Let's see if we can get to Callum Bates's predictions as well. Callum, who do you think should be in that squad? And I'm really interested to hear who you think shouldn't be in the squad.
I agree with Dan. I think Dominic Solanke deserves a spot. I think you can say Watkins had an unreal season, but he's only 2 goals behind him in a worse team. And I know Villa have been unreal, and Ollie Watkins is a major part of that. But I think Dominic Solanke is a third option off the bench when you need a goal, as well as Ollie Watkins. I think that's a really good option.
And Marcus Rashford. Now that is a big call from a Manchester United fan, can I just say. Yes, there's lots of competition on the left wing. You've got the likes of Anthony Gordon, Foden can play out there. Why Rashford? Has he just not done enough this season?
It's all based on what English managers say, the old things say, form. He hasn't been Marcus Rashford this season. It's been a different player. He sulks around. Everyone's seen this clip from where Ross Barkley's just strolling past him.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care this season. I love Marcus Rashford. He's probably arguably my favourite player since Wayne Rooney for Man United. But he doesn't do enough. When you've got Anthony Gordon doing double the amount of goal contribution in a slightly not slightly, but a worse side, and also the injuries that Newcastle have had, I feel like he's carried them this season, and now they're actually above United on goal difference.
Wow.
So I think Anthony Gordon should go ahead, and not even Anthony Gordon, you could have anyone else. I think Rashford just shouldn't go. I think it'd help him as well to take the summer off, rejuvenate.
Yeah, let's move on a little bit to get more of the live action. Sorry to cut you off there, Callum, but we've obviously got loads of live football around the stadiums, incling back at the Southern League. Now, Tom Goward told us there was a pretty dire first half, not really too much by the way of clear-cut chances. Hopefully, you can tell us a little bit more for the second.
Yeah, so the second half has just started here at the Sow Stadium, and Eastleigh have come out the far better team here in Totton. They've obviously got a boot from half-time from manager Jimmy Bull. We had a chance, again, it was a great save from the Merthyr goalkeeper. He got down to his left-hand side to make the save there. I think it was from Tony Lee. Ollie, you promised me goals. I'm yet to see any goals, but I'm hoping we can see. Back to you in the studio.
Tom, I think we've learned enough from the past couple of hours that don't trust me with football prediction, especially not in the game at Bramall Lane, because there's been a goal and we've been tipping him to be the best player for the Blades. 2-1, Callum.
Gustavo Hammer, it's a phenomenal finish, and it's a move that doesn't involve Ollie McBurney, and it's finally been a goal, so what a surprise. Ollie not involved. He did a tiny bit of hold-up play, and then Hammer's got played through on this left-hand side. He cuts in, far corner, top corner. What a goal! And like I said earlier, I bigged him up earlier, and I don't think he'll be in the Championship next season. I think he'll get a move to a Premier League side, and we're just over 52 minutes in, 2-1 now, and that's game on.
Yeah, certainly is game on. There goes, like I said, my prediction is completely out the pan, but for the other panellists, lots of you have said 2-2, so that could certainly be on. There's been a few more goals in League One. Blackpool running away with it at home to Barnsley. That's now 3-0. Wickham have taken a 2-1 lead away at Carlisle. Charlton have pulled a goal back, well, they've equalised, I should say, at home to Shrewsbury. Lincoln are now 2-1 up away at Cheltenham. League 2 action now. Barrow 2-0 up away at Doncaster. Goals galore in the game between Harrogate and MK Dons. The home team are 3-2 up. Forest Green have turned it around. They're now 2-1 up away at Morecambe. Stockport County, since being pegged back by Accrington,
we've got a goal.
have we taken the lead, and we've got a goal at Vicarage Road.
Hull have gone ahead. A quick free kick taken. Carvalho's been clattered by the referee, and I think Watford just switch off because of that. But
He looks annoyed, Kai. Are you sure it's been a goal?
It's a bit.
I think it might have been disallowed here, but a two-fan looked like he was in.
He was in, and he did put it in the back of the net, and he wheeled away. And then Carvalho's been apologised to, so I don't know whether the refs had to stop the game because of the contact. And now my stream's buffering, which is a great time.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get a few action. Here we are. Here is the replay. What's gone on here? So it's a pass into Tupan. He must have been offside.
He has to be offside. Yeah, the ref's got his arm. It was offside, but a nice little finish, on the turn, creates the angle and slides it into the corner. But we're getting it as close as we can to a goal. without there actually being a goal. So, yeah, still 0-0.
Yeah, Tufan looking to make amends on that earlier penalty miss. Just couldn't beat the last defender. So he's been pulled back for offside. Just seeing to see if there's any more goals in the Southern League. Doesn't look that way as far as my video printer is concerned. There has been a few more goals in League Two. Sutton United now a goal apiece at home to Crawley Town. Tranmere have taken a 2-goal lead at home to Wimbledon. And it's a Desmond 2-2 with Walsall and Bradford. So lots of goals going in. Unfortunately, Kai's still going to have to wait if he ever is going to manage to get a goal on Solent Soccer Saturday. Big thank you to everyone that is joining in, and a huge well done if you managed to get our mystery player earlier. Also make sure to use the hashtag Solent Soccer Saturday if you've got any opinions about that England Euro 2024 squad. I'm sure you might disagree, you might agree with our panellists, but let's just say they are certainly, what they say is certainly not gospel. We can say that for the very least. So we can see if there's any more action going on. It looks as though Callum Bates has got the best of the action. 2-1 at Bramall Lane to Burnley. But I'm actually going to just come to you in just a moment, Callum, because I've been told that we're going to have some live action in the Wessex League Division 1 game between Fleetlands and Fawley. Now, last time we heard from Ethan, it was 2-0 to Fleetlands. Any more updates, Mr. Green?
Yeah, thank you, Ollie. Yeah, completely different game here in the second half. Fleetlands winning at half time with 2-0 up. However, Fawley have come out in the second half storming. They've got one back. The towering header from Dylan Knight has made it 2-1. And Fawley now are looking to get back in, tie this game level. A little bit of a break on now. Will Berry it's been cleared away. But yes, it's gone entertaining. It's 2-1 now to Fleetlands, with Fawley looking to come back in this game.
Thank you very much there, Ethan. I'm just checking to see if there are any permutations that are going on in League 1 and League 2. Obviously, it's everything happening at the top and the bottom of the table. Lots of teams could get promoted or relegated. There's been another goal in what seems to be the game of the 3 o'clock kickoffs between Harrogate and MK Dons. It's now 3-3 there in the North East. So lots of goals going on. Just as maybe we're going to go to AFC Totton soon. Surely Jack Bunklock isn't going to down another pint. I can see him talking just to the left of me with someone with a pint in their hand, but I think instead he's going to have an interview. Let's see if we can go live back over to the Snow Stadium, where last we heard it was still goalless between AFC Totton and Merthyr Town. So Jack's going to give us the updates, I'm sure, very soon.
Hello.
Hello, Jack.
And welcome to the Snow Stadium. As you can hear, there's a lot of noise behind me with the Merthyr fan, and we've got a special guest here, the Vice Chairman of Merthyr Town, Mark Evans. So, Mark, what have you thought of the match so far?
Well, it's been really even, to be honest. I think first half, Tottenham have been on top, but I think the chance second half come to us. I think the problem is that, of course, this means more to us than Tottenham. Tottenham are in the playoffs, and we want to be in the playoffs. So, I think we're more tense than the Tottenham fans are.
Yeah, definitely. It just doesn't sound like it. It looks like the beers are flowing and the songs are just going mental. Is it like this every game?
Well, we take a good support every week. We take 50, 60 everywhere in this league, which is a lot. But this is the last away game of the season, so normally we would have a lot of people anyway. But at the same time, we're on the fringe of the playoffs. So it's, I think we're drinking a lot, the Nella pain.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the drinks are flowing here as the Merthyr fans have come across the border and enjoying their day out. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much there, Jack. The beers are flowing and the beard is growing. There's been a few more goals in the Premier League. I see Callum can inform us straight away. We'll come to you in just a moment, I promised, Dan. Goal at Bramall Lane. Where's it gone, Callum?
3-1 now. Burnley. Loftus gets it. It's a nice inside play from the right back. He comes inside. There's no defending really, just standing off like Foster, centre of the penalty area, and it's just an easy finish in the bottom right-hand corner. That's 3-1 now, before the hour mark. This ain't looking great for the Blades.
No, it's not. And a wry smile from our course leader, Mr. Wilco, famously a Sheffield United fan. I think his eyes just went down a little bit because he knows what they are going to be consigned to back to the Championship. Dan, we'll come to you now. Kenilworth Road, Brentford were 2-0 up. Is it still 2-0 to the Bees?
Yeah, still 2-0 to the Bees. Luton have actually responded very well this second half, bringing off Reece Burke, bringing on Luke Berry, another midfielder. So maybe Barkley can sort of progress and help Clark and Chong in behind Morris. But yeah, still 2-0 to Brentford. No real clear-cut chances at the moment. Brentford holding on, but I think if Luton manage to grab a goal, I think it's really nervy time to Brentford.
Well, definitely Luton have made a name for themselves getting those late goals. It ain't over till it's over, and that comes at both ends really, with Luton losing so many leads, just cannot seem to, it's like 90 minutes is too long for a game of football for the Hatters. There's been a couple more goals in the Championship, both coming at Carrow Road. It's now 1 apiece between the Canaries and Robins of Bristol City. Roberts puts Bristol City 1-0 up, and then 3 minutes later, Boya Saints just before the hour mark to make it 1-1 there. So a couple of predictions still on. Callum, you had 2-1 Bristol City. That's possible. I'm afraid, Dan, you said 2-0 Norwich. That's out the window. That's not going to finish like that. A couple more goals as well to tell you about in League One. Actually, I was saying that. I didn't believe there are any more goals to tell you about. It's now full-time at Sixfields between Northampton and Exeter. And I think we should have a team news before City against Chelsea. That's the FA Cup game coming up later on in the semi-final. So let's see if we can get, I'm going to try and see if I can get that ever so shortly for you all. And a chance at the Cardiff City Stadium. Rooms.
Yeah, Ethan Horvath actually managing to clear it off the line. Shea Adams strayed into what looked like was an offside position, but he's used his body well, hoofs it across the face of goal, and it's Adam Armstrong with a diving header, almost Van Persie-esque, but actually inside the box. Goes towards the goal, but Horvath manages to push it out. And it was actually James Bree who was brought on at half-time to replace Ryan Manning. He's had a great start wearing the number 14. He is all over the place as we're about 10 minutes into the second half. He has been fantastic so far. But it does remain 1-0, sorry.
Oh, thank you. We'll bring you team news, I apologise, in just a moment, because there's been a goal in the Southern League. Tom, it's at a knife's edge at the Snow Stadium between Totton and Merthyr. Put me out of my misery. Who's taken the lead there?
Oh, sorry, Ollie. Yes, Totton have just taken the lead. Sorry, I was just engrossed watching the game there as Totton pushed for a second. It was a ball that came down the left-hand side by Totton, and there was a number 10 of Ethan Taylor in the box who just slotted it past Merthyr. As they're on the attack here, now Totton, the ball comes in the box, but that's gone wide. Yeah, we've finally seen the deadlock here at the Snow Stadium. 1-0 Totton.
Well, it wasn't Tony Lee, but let me tell you, Ethan Taylor has got magic in his boots. That's 5 goals now in 7 games, really starting to find some form. And Tottenham looking to put a little bit more pressure on Gosport and Salisbury. Sorry, I just can't hold back my excitement. That's a big goal for the Stags there, just west of Southampton. Any more chances to tell us about in the Championship? You've got a smile on your face, Kai. What's going on between Watford and Hull?
My stream's frozen right as Ryan Andrews is about to strike the ball, and I'll tell you what, it looks like a picture. It's beautiful. All stops come rushing out to get the ball, but Carvalho's just cleared it away, and it's a bit of a defensive mistake. Then Watford are able to put the cross in. Bayo puts the ball back in, and Ryan Andrews takes a shot, but it deflects wide, and Hull walk away with the ball there. I say deflects wide. Back into Hull possession.
Yeah, just over an hour gone there in the Championship game. Still not many goals to tell you about in the Championship. Lots of, I think, tentative players not looking to commit themselves too much. So it looks like it's going to go to the final day in the promotion and the relegation battle. It's still 1-0 to Southampton. We've not heard too much from Reece in the second half as far as in-play action concerned. Is Southampton looking confident despite being 1 goal up?
Yeah, so it's classic Southampton this season where they're chugging away in the second half, not as strong as they were in the first. So when you have that break, with that 15-minute break at half-time, they do tend to come out a little bit weaker. But the way that Cardiff are going forward and then Saints are threatening a counter-attack, getting to about the halfway line and stopping, forces the Cardiff defenders to run all the way back. But then Southampton have so much space in their own half to recycle the ball and keep it. It's actually a corner here from Will Smallbone who whips it in, and it's headed out. So it's nothing important to update at the moment, but 63 minutes gone, Saints in the lead 1-0.
Okay, but thank you very much, Reece. We're going to go back to the Snow Stadium, this time with Jack Bunclark, who seems to have got an interview with someone, a member of staff of the FC Tottenham. I'm sure it'll be a familiar face for myself, but I'm sure they'll introduce them and see how the game is going. Jack, over to you.
Hello, Ollie. How are you? Yes, we're at the Snow Stadium. We've gone from the noisy Merthyr fans to the busy kitchen of Totton. So we're with Caroline here, who's the facility manager. So what is a favourite here at Totton, food-wise?
Well, it's a bit varied. Normally the bacon cheeseburgers, but we sell loads of fries, honestly. It's like manic.
Is that what you recommend? Bacon cheeseburger with some fries?
Yeah, or we do the ultimate stag burger, which is 2 beef burgers, bacon, cheese, and all the trimmings.
It sounds fantastic. Obviously, Totton nicknamed the Stags. Obviously, going 2 and 2 together is very clever. But yeah, what's the atmosphere been like this year?
Absolutely amazing. Just every other game is just getting busier and busier. Today is like majorly busy. I think it's probably the biggest crowd we've had. and the fans have been amazing. We've got the away supporters that are just been great, really good.
Yeah, we were just speaking to some Merthyr fans then, and they're making some real noise. But so are the Totton fans. You know, it's a bit of a battle between who can make the noisiest. But yeah, what's the best thing about being part of this football club?
It's about the family atmosphere, really. From the directors through to the first team, down to every single member of staff. Everyone just mucks in and gets on really well, and it's just been part of a really good atmosphere.
So earlier I downed a pint of beer, and they might have to go for some chips after. But I really appreciate your time, Caroline. Back to you in the studio.
The lovely Caroline Keats, an unsung hero at Totton. Let me tell you, her catering at the Snow Stadium is top notch. Fair play to her. We're going to go live back over to Loftus Road, where Alex Isaacs and Jamie Hale seem to have got some lovely treatment over there in West London. I believe they're going to be doing some team news updates for the game between QPR and Preston. It's a huge game for QPR to make a little bit of room between them and the bottom three. So over to you, Jamie and Alex. Tell me those team news.
Everybody. Before we get to team news, because we have got team news now, I'm just going to show you a view of the pitch.
Oh, if I take it away.
If I turn around the camera, if it focuses up, I'll do a little pan. So,
yeah, you're slow cooking there. You're slow cooking. As you can see, the Stanley bowls even stand over on the far side, and all the way to the keepers warming up over there. We've got the game is going to be on Sky, but we've also got Sky in front of us, just in case we need to watch a live stream. Still not as good as Solent Sports News, though, so no, Sky, up the game.
Yeah, it is a lovely, lovely ground. But anyway, in terms of team news, I can see them just stretching down here. I'll do Queen's Park Rangers, you go for Preston.
Take it away.
Starting in goal is Asmir Begovic, as we mentioned earlier, and he's played every game this season for QPR. Then we've got a back line of Jimmy Dunn, Jack Colback, former Newcastle and Sunderland player, bit controversial with that. And then Steve Cook and Jake Clark-Salter, who was in the Chelsea academy for quite a while, but he never really got through. He spent a number of 6 years there, is now at Queen's Park Rangers. He's been really good for them this season, keeping that back line solid. Even though they've been fighting relegation, he's held it all together. Alongside Jack Colback, who's brought some goals to the side. He scored 3. And now I move on to the midfield. So Chris Willock, a familiar last name, links up with Sam Field in 2 defensive spots. Sam Field scored QPR's last goal, this being against Plymouth Argyle though. So they failed to score last time out against Hull City. So we'll be looking to get the goals going again today. And then it's a front 4, so 3 attacking midfielders of Lyndon Dykes and then Ilias Chair, who we've been speaking about all day. He's the most creative player QPR have had this season. 5 goals and 6 assists. And then next to Ilias Chair on the left will be Kenneth Powell, and then up front, Lucas Anderson. So yeah, strong lineup for QPR, but take it away, Jamie Hale, with the Preston North End lineup.
Well, I was going to say, Alex, you've went very in-depth there, and I do appreciate it. I'm just going to list them off. I don't want to dilly-dally about it with Preston North End. So you've got Freddie Woodman in goal alongside the back line of Liam Lindsay, Will Keane, and Jordan Story. In the midfield, you've got Hughes, Robbie Brady, Alan Brown, and also Ryan Ledson. And up on the front part of the pitch, actually, is Miller, Woodburn, and Emil Riss. And the best player of their season so far, with an average rating of 7.24, Footmob for is actually Alan Brown, their captain. So they're looking to stay strong with, I'm not going to lie, they haven't had many standout players. Will Keane probably being one of the many few. 13 goals so far in this season, quite good. And Freddie Woodman as well, being next Newcastle United goalkeeper. He's quite decent in that net as well. So I think we'll leave that as what it is now. You've seen the pitch, you've seen the food, you've seen us, and we'll get back to you as game is almost commencing. So, back to you.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you very much, Jamie and Alex. We're going to go to Nathan Potter in just a minute at Winchester because there's been loads of goals going on in the Premier League. Let's start with you, Dan.
It's all falling apart for Luton. It's now Luton 0, Brentford 4 here at Kenilworth Road. Only 65 minutes played, 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes. The first one, a corner from Damsgaard, easily headed in by Ethan Pinnock into the top-hand corner. His first goal since October of last year when they beat Chelsea 2-0 away. And now Lewis Potter has also notched a goal. Really, really poor defending from Luton. They just can't get out. The ball was cleared to Mbermo. His back post ball. It didn't seem like any Luton defender wanted to get there. And Lewis Potter easily tapped it into the bottom corner past Kaminski. It's all falling apart here at Luton.
And it's not just there, it's falling apart. Also at Bramall Lane, it's falling apart. I said 4-0, not quite right. It's 4-1, isn't it, Callum?
Yeah, Gudmundsson has scored with Coutinho, but getting the not Coutinho. He's come off Coutinho, Josh Cullen, with the assist. Yeah, Sheffield United, they haven't been bad today, but Burnley have been clinical for once in the Premier League, and defensively that's where they have been bad. I think they've created a fair few chances, Sheffield United, but it's defensively that is going to cost them. And yeah, 4 goals for Burnley today.
Well, Burnley want to make sure that they don't return back to the Championship.
It's a goal here as well for Cardiff. Yeah, it's an all too familiar story for Southampton, who haven't taken their chances. For Mara Diadu, it deflects off 2, but he's the one to poke it in for his second goal on loan from Granada. Famously spent quite a few years at Bristol, scored 51 goals for them in the league, went to Turkey, come back now to the Championship, a deadline day signing. He scored both of his goals at home, and a massive one that could really hurt Southampton. If this ends 1-0, I think the race is over for the Saints, honestly. I think they've got to win all of their remaining games. But they've had so many chances, well over 20 shots. They've actually had 19 and 8 on target, so wasteful from the Saints.
I can hear the pain in your voice there, Reece, as you give us the ball. So a
Very
fine
wasteful
job, I must say. We're actually going to try and go live now over to Winchester, the game between them and Beaconsfield. Nathan Potter is live at the Charters Community Stadium. Any updates, Nathan? Or was it still goalless?
In my game, Aaron. Been able to find
Charlie, can you hear me?
For the birthday boy, Ollie Barber.
Not ready yet, but we will be soon. We'll be soon. Just to get your attention, that's all.
Well, apologies for the technical difficulties there. If you couldn't hear just over Nathan Potter there, it's 1-0 to Winchester against Beaconsfield. Ollie Barber, famous actually around the Southern League for having a wicked free kick on him. But this time it sounded like, if I could make it out there was a bicycle kick. So certainly one for the highlight reel, and I'm sure the Winchester media team will try and get that out as soon as they can. Right, lots of goals going on in the Premier League. I think Jack Bunklark is going to be poised to give me some more AFC Totton updates. Whilst it might not be around from a footballing sense, maybe it's something on behind the scenes. So let's go live over to Jack Bunklark.
Hello, yes, we've gone to the kitchen and now we're at the bar where I'm going to try and pour the perfect pint. I'm going to need to have a plastic cup of some sort. So just one of these. Thank you. So I'm just going to try and pour the perfect pint.
Look, you're going to knock another one off, love. Sorry.
A bit of glass got smashed and there's a little bit of disaster, but the pint's going so far so good. I'll have to pay for that as well. What would you rate that pint out of 10 poured?
0.
0. You know what, I would agree. There's no head. It's absolutely terrible. Broke a glass. Not great success, but at least the match outside's better than here. Back to you in the studio.
Well, Jack, I don't think anything screams comedy of errors more than what you've just shown us there from the glass smashing. And what a terrible pint, fellas.
I hope he's paid double for that, because that was horrific.
What an awful
waste of alcohol. An absolute waste.
I hope you're paying for that, Jack, because that was pathetic. That was definitely...
Absolutely offended by that.
There's been a few more goals going in around the Southern League. Like we were saying, AFC Totton are 1-0 up at home to Merthyr. Basingstoke 2-1 up at home to Dorchester Town. It's a goal apiece between Chesham and Bracknell Town, who are hoping to get into the final playoff position. opposition. Hanwell have taken a surprise 1-goal lead at home to Hungerford Town. It's a goal apiece between Harrow and Tiverton. Salisbury doubled the lead away at Hayes and Yeading. It's now 2-0 there. Goalless between Hendon and Gosport Borough. Walton and Hersham, maybe sacking their manager was the right decision. That looks to be 2 wins on the bounce with a 2-0 lead over Plymouth Parkway. Poole Town look a little bit of a resurgence with their new manager following the sacking of Matt Tubbs. They're now 2-0 up against already relegated Didcot. Sholing running away with it against Swindon Supermarine. 3-0 there. Apologies once again, Dan, because I thought Swindon Supermarine might get something out of that. And then Winchester 1-0 up, like we were saying, from Nathan Potter against Beaconsfield. Also, a few more goals going on in the Championship. Swansea have taken a 1-goal lead away at Huddersfield, and looking a little bit bleak there for the Terriers. They might go down to League One. And Millwall have taken a 1-goal lead away at Sunderland at the Stadium of Light in League One. Barnsley have pulled one back, maybe on a shot comeback on the cards. It's now 3-1 in their game against Blackpool. Bolton 1-0 up at home to Port Vale, so it doesn't look like Derby will be going up today. Reading have pulled a goal back away at Burton Albion. It's now 3-2 there, and we're going to quickly go over to Reece. I'll bring you more of the updates in just a moment. Another chance out in Wales.
Yeah, it is. It's actually on Cardiff's side this time, and since they got the equaliser, it's been all them. It forces Alex McCarthy into action because a cross from the right-hand side has maybe been caught by the wind. I'm not too sure, but it's actually gone onto goal. McCarthy manages just to tip it over onto the roof of the net, and that was essential that he was there. He was looking to come out and claim it anyway, and he had to take a few quick steps backwards just to reach his hand up. Very grateful that he did, because otherwise that was going in to the far corner. But yeah, still 1-0, 76 minutes played. Yeah, I'll just fill you in on more of the League Two games before we go back to the Snow Stadium. That seems to be the venue of choice on today's soccer Saturday. It's Tranmere are now 2-1 up against Wimbledon, who have had a red card. Walsall against Bradford is now 3-2 to the Bantams, and they've also received a red card. Notts County, whilst it looked like they may have also got back-to-back promotions, definitely slipped off. And it's now they've now taken the lead at home to Colchester, who are relegation threatened as well. Doesn't look like there's any more goal there. Doncaster 2-1, losing at home to Barrow. Kai, I heard something there. So there's something at Vicarage Road?
Yeah, so Watford, Rajovic has just come on for Dennis.
The
top scorer. Dennis hasn't really been able to get into the game like most of the Watford attackers, but he's fouled on the edge of the box as his first action, and it's Aspera and Rajovic on the edge of the box, both in deep conversation. Who's going to take it? Rajovic takes the free kick, goes through the wall. Keeper's obviously unsighted. He managed to make a late save to tip it out wide for a throw-in. It's still 0-0. It's anyone's game to win.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm hoping we'll get a winner.
Finally pushed, surely not another goalless draw for Kai McKenzie to report on at Solent Sports News. Let's, like I said, go back over to the Snow Stadium where Tom Goward is reporting on AFC Totton versus Merthyr Town. Last time we checked in, it was 1-0 to the Stags as the goal. Here's the scoreline, still the same, Tom.
Yeah, hi Ollie. So not much has happened since the goal. Tottenham went ahead. Merthyr were trying to push for an equaliser. They had a free kick just on the edge of the box, but that was straight at the wall. And then I believe there was a corner that followed from that, and the corner came in, and Tottenham, the defender, I didn't quite see who it was concussed or had a head injury at least. I believe he's gone off with the medics as well. I've just peered my head actually just over the fence, and I can see a Tottenham and Ealing game going on right now. I'm just wondering to myself, is that any more interesting than this game going on between these two promotion hopefuls? But yeah, still 1-0 to Tottenham here. Back to you, Ollie.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. Seems like it's going to go right down to the wire there at the Snow Stadium. Let's give you a bit of team news on the FA Cup semi-final between Manchester City and Chelsea before we get Josh Stewart to give us some cricket updates, starting with the Blues of Chelsea. In goal is Georgi Petrovic. The back four from right to left is Malo Gusto, Trevor Chalobah, Thiago Silva and Marc Cucurella. The two base in midfield looks to be Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, and then the front four, just the three just in front of them, Noni Madueke, Cole Palmer, of course, and Conor Gallagher. Nico Jackson leads the line for Manchester City. Ortega is in between the sticks. Kyle Walker right back with Ake at left back. John Stones and Akanji make up the rest of the back four. Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and Foden, and Jack Grealish make up the midfield. No Erling Haaland for the Citizens. Julian Alvarez leads the line in the FA Cup semi-final there at Wembley. Let's go over to the Ageas Bowl, where Josh Stewart is going to report live from the cricket. We've got everything here on Solent Sports News.
Yeah.
break, they've increased their score by 18. They've managed to figure out Hassan Ali's game a little bit more. Both Gubbins and Middleton have knocked boundaries off of him, as well as nicking a few 1s and 2s here and there. So the run rate has increased for Hampshire, but Ed Barnard has been brought in by Warwickshire, has bowled very well, and in 3 overs he's only conceded 1 run. So whilst there is signs of improvement, it's still by no means a done deal for either side. And still, as we go to the end, Hampshire 63 for 1 so far.
Well, thank you very much, Josh. Let's hope that Hampshire can overturn that against Warwickshire. We're going to go back again to the Snow Stadium. If you're a fan of Totton or Merthyr, then it's your lucky day. Jack Bunclark is back with an interview with a member of staff from AFC Totton. Looks like Matthew.
Back out in the sun, away from pouring pints, because that was not our speciality. We're back to the football, what we know a little bit more. And I'm here with Matthew, who's a Totton fan. So what does Totton mean to you, Matthew?
It means a lot to me. I'm a AFC Totton volunteer. I've been here for like 3 years now, so it's real good.
Yeah, so what do you do and volunteer here?
I clean up after the games. I work in Monday to Wednesday. It's really, really good, you know, really rewarding. And I get to see the games, you know, it's getting there. You know, I've been here 3 years now, and they've come from strength to strength, so real good.
Yeah, so obviously you put the hard work in during the week, and then obviously you come to Snow Stadium and you can celebrate watching Totton. And this year they've been doing fantastic, haven't they?
Oh yes, you know, they've been above and beyond. You know, first season back in this division, you won't expect to finish in the playoffs. Yeah, I know, it's just like you take your right arm off. It's we'll finish in the playoffs. It's real good.
Yeah, obviously, as we can see, you've got all the merch on. And just finally, what is the best thing about Totton?
Oh, it's just like the community atmosphere. You know, it's just like non-league. All the fans can merge. You know what I mean? It's just real good.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, Matthew.
You're most very welcome.
Yeah, and back to you in the studio.
Well, thank you very much there, Jack. Nice to hear from Matthew. Like I said, like you said, one of the volunteers over at AFC Totton. Another goal in League One. Wickham have taken a 3-1 lead away at Carlisle. And in League Two, MK Dons have turned it around, now 4-3 away at Harrogate Town. In the Premier League now, it looks to be dead and buried. It looks like Burnley and Brentford will be taking all 3 points. Does it look like any sign that either two are going to get back into it? Callum, I'll start with you with Sheffield United.
No, there's just a lot of possession going around from Burnley. If I look at the stats at the moment, where Sheffield United have expected goals of over 2, where Burnley have scored 4 goals and their expected goals is not even 1.5. So it shows us poor finishing has cost Sheffield United yet again. But yeah, and Burnley are just going to see this out now for probably a 4-1, but maybe another goal in this.
And Dan, you know, Luton have been on the back end of comebacks. It doesn't look like it's going to happen today.
I mean, it's going to take a really, really big effort if they're going to score 4 goals in 12 minutes here. It will be the second time this season that Luton haven't scored at home. So yeah, I'm shocked actually at how easy it's been for Brentford, and they're on the chance now to maybe make it a 5th with Mbermo. Shoots low, but Kaminsky saves well. Yeah, I've been really shocked with the lack of effort from Luton. Haven't been clinical, whereas Brentford they've looked like the Brentford that we've seen from last season, despite Tony not being there. Visser and Mbermo and Lewis Potter has actually just come off. Yeah, they've been exceptional up front, and notably, obviously, Pinnock coming into the side, first appearance since March. He's been really assured at centre-back today.
Yeah, we were saying earlier about how the lack of Ivan Toney maybe gives a bit more responsibility to Visser and Mbermo. Are they recognised positions, or are they kind of just interchanging, all 3 of them, kind of the same profile of player, fast, nippy forwards as opposed to strikers or necessarily wingers? Can you see that?
Yeah, the link-up play has been really good. It's been really, it's been really entertaining and thrilling to watch. I mean, the link-up play, especially, as you said. Reece, sorry.
Let's go over to you, Reece.
It was a Cardiff free kick, and it wasn't actually as good as I thought it was going to be based on the curve of the delivery. It was dealt with well. But we have made some changes in this game for both teams, indeed. Southampton have made a couple. They've brought off Brooks and top goal scorer Adam Armstrong to bring on Kamaldeen Sulemana, who returns from injury, and Ryan Fraser, who scored plenty of goals in the last 15 minutes, comes on. But Southampton have scored 22 in the last quarter of an hour. So let's see if they can do it again today. But they're going to need something soon. Only 6 minutes of the 90 left to play, and then a bit of added time. We've had a few injuries, a bit of time wasting. But Southampton fullback so quick to get the game back underway. It's 85 minutes gone, 1-0 at the moment.
Thank you very much, Reece. Now, we mentioned about what could occur in League One, some of the permutations, and as it stands, it will be Fleetwood and Port Vale who get relegated to League Two. Port Vale 1 goal down away at Bolton Wanderers, and if they continue to lose and Burton avoid defeat while they're defeating Reading 3-2, they will go down. It looks extremely disappointing for Fleetwood, as whilst it's goalless there.
Oh, it's an ugly, it's an ugly situation here. Kamaldeen Sulemana looks unconscious. Players rushing over. Camera's still on the situation right now as the physio runs over, but this looks quite ugly. It was a collision of heads by the looks of things.
Who is? Do you know who?
It was Kamaldeen Sulemana as Stuart Armstrong goes to actually shoot the ball. Sulemana's gone in low and Armstrong's hit him in the head with his shoe. So we'll continue to provide updates as it comes, but the way that he's fallen, the way he looks on the floor, the camera's cut away now, and Russell Martin calling his players over, but you saw Jan Bednarek sprint in to check on the player there, so could be some serious scenes here, but we'll bring you updates when we can. Yeah, potentially some, like you said, Reece, ugly scenes across the border. We'll actually give that an opportunity for a few more goals in the Southern League. Plymouth Parkway have pulled one back at home to Walton Hersham. It's now 2-1 there, and a few more goals in League Two. Stockport County 4-2 up against Accrington Stanley, 3-1 to Tranmere at home to Wimbledon as well, and that game, Harrogate against MK Dons, 5-3 to the Dons. What a game. Grimsby also 1 goal up at home to Swindon. Doesn't look like any action from our live reporters either, so it looks as though we're going to have to stick with our panellists. Brentford, like you said, still 4-0 up against Luton. I don't think anyone had that on their Super Six. And what we've gathered today, guys, is maybe we shouldn't make predictions, because has anyone got one that's definitely right so far? I think the Norwich City game against Bristol City was one of them. We had it as 1-0. No one had it as 1-0 with us. Stoke at home to Plymouth was 2-0 Stoke. And saying that, Reece, you had Stoke to beat Plymouth Argyle by 2 goals to 0. A Stoke connoisseur, some would say. Yeah, maybe so. So like I said, Kijana Hova got the first goal for the Potters, and hopefully we can go back to Nathan Potter in just a moment. And Manhoff also scoring just before half-time there. At the Britannia. I believe it's still called the Britannia Stadium, but I'm willing to be corrected on that by anyone. If you use the hashtag Solent Soccer Saturday, I'm perfectly fine. I've just been told it's the Bet365 Stadium, so nearly got there. Better scenes here, sorry, at the Cardiff City Stadium, because Sulemana is on his feet. It looked worrying to begin with, and the reaction from Stuart Armstrong, who had the collision with him, he was standing over with his hand in his head like that, so he looked like he was scared, to be honest with you. I'm struggling to find the words because it looked serious. The way he went down, very limp. His limbs were not moving, but he's managed to walk off the pitch. So it looks like it's going to be a concussion substitution for Southampton, but no player ready just yet. So I'll bring you updates as they come. Thank you, Reece. Now, we were speaking earlier about the promotion race in the Championship, and Reece, you gave your opinions. I'm interested to hear about the other three. I don't know how much of the Championship football you necessarily consume or digest. What do you think? How do you think it's going to pan out?
I do think we'll see. I think Leicester have gotten over that little hump that they've had, that worrying spell, and then, I mean, you can water it down, can't you? You can say, well, if Southampton go on to win all of their games, they're up, because obviously the games have to play against. I
suppose if they beat Leeds, of course.
So that works out, but I mean, the football fan in me wants it to be Ipswich. I think there's a real fairy tale story there, but if we're getting down, to the real sort of, if I had to put money on the line, who do I think will go up? I think it will be Southampton. What I find funny about Ipswich is I think lots of Championship fans have been saying all season, they'll drop off, they'll drop off. We've now played 43 games and they're still up there. So could they get back-to-back promotions, Dan?
If I'm being honest, I think it's going to be Leicester and Leeds in the top 2. I think with Ipswich 2 away games against Hull and Coventry, I believe it was at the top of my head, I think they're going to slip up in at least 1 or 2, because both of them are gunning for the playoffs, and obviously Ipswich are gunning for the top 2, but I think it's going to be Leicester and Leeds. I think they're going to pull through.
And yourself, Callum, do you concur? We've got a Southampton show, we've got Leeds South. No one's gunning for Ipswich. What do you think?
Ipswich are going to go.
Oh, there we go. So one of you is going to be right come the end of the season. Let's see who it is if we can remember that. 2-0 now to Swansea away at Huddersfield. Like I said, I'll just run you through all of the Championship games. We've got Reece covering Cardiff against Southampton. That's a goal apiece. Also a goal apiece is the game at Carrow Road between Norwich and Bristol City. Goalless between Rotherham and Birmingham. Birmingham in desperate need for 3 points if they're going to get a little bit of room away from the relegation zone. Millwall still 1-0 up away at Sunderland, while Stoke lead Plymouth by 2-0. And poor Kai Mackenzie still 0-0 between Watford and Hull City. I hear an Aries. What's happened?
It's 9 minutes confirmed to be the time added on, and I was expecting it to be no less, to be honest with you. We've had stoppages. Do want to just make it clear that Kamaldeen Sulemana has continued to play.
Wow.
And I think that is, there's a booking actually for one of the Saints players as well. It's Jan Bednarek, who's got quite a few this season, but Sulemana's been allowed to play, and the way he went down, the way he was on the floor for several minutes, it seemed like he should not have been allowed to continue, but clearly he's fine. Yeah, remains 1-0. We enter 9 minutes of added time.
Well, we'll trust the club doctors that they went through all of the concussion protocols and he is okay to continue. It's looked to be a nervy finish at Fratton Park. Maybe not, actually, seeing as Portsmouth have already won the league. But Wigan Athletic did go 2-0 up through McGuinness. But as Portsmouth have done all season, Kusini Yengi pulling a goal back, now 2-1. So I would not be surprised if they can turn that one around. We're going to go back over to the Snow Stadium. Tom Goward, last time we heard 1-0 to Totton. Is it still the same, Tom?
Yeah, hi Ollie, we're approaching the end of the game here and Totton have just doubled their lead. It's that man again, number 10, Ethan Taylor, who picked up the ball just beyond the halfway line, drove towards the goal and used his right foot to slot it past the left-hand side of the goalkeeper. It was a lovely finish and a good way to end this game. They just announced the attendance of 1,707, so a big turnout here today for this promotion game. But yeah, 2-0 to Totton, taking all 3 points.
Keep hold of all 3 points. I'm sure Merthyr will be knocking on the door, seeing as they desperately need to get some points on the board if they're going to keep hold of that 5th spot. It's going to go right down to the wire in the Southern Premier Division South. A few more goals to tell you. A few more goals to tell you about. Like we said, Sholing 3 goals up at home to Swindon Supermarine. There's no change there. Looks as though Chesham and Bracknell is still a goal apiece, while Basingstoke at home to Dorchester is still 2-1. And I tell you what, I'm going to correct myself. Bracknell turned it around. It's now 2-1 there against the champions. So I'll give you a little bit of insight. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say this, gents, but Jimmy Ball tips Bracknell to get into that final playoff spot. There's been some great games. They've got some really good players that you can keep note of. Still 1-1 between Harrow Borough and Tiverton Town. And Plymouth Parkway have equalised against Walton Hersham, having been 2-0, 2 goals down at Belitho Park. That is now 2-2. Lots of goals going around here on this Solent Soccer Saturday, brought to you by the Solent Sports News YouTube channel. I tell you what, it's not looking good at the John Smith Stadium for Huddersfield. It's looking extremely bleak as they have gone 4 goals down at home to Swansea City. It looks something's happened at Dan Babazok, and whilst it's 4-0 to Swansea, it was 4-0 to Brentford.
It's now 5.
Wow.
And it's Shade who's got it. It's another Mbermo assist. He squares it to Janel, and Morpay leaves it for the German, and Shade, without a doubt, puts it into the bottom corner. It's 5, and Brentford are well and truly home. And it's embarrassing for Luton Town now. It's getting embarrassing for Rob Edwards' side. It
is indeed. I wonder if you can attribute this to Luton maybe not being up for it, underestimating Brentford. They've gone gung-ho, to and fro against the so-called Big Six and other teams up there. But maybe if they just, taken their foot off the gas, they've lost to Sheffield United this season, they've lost to Burnley this season. When push comes to shove and it matters, they're not getting the points on the board, are they?
They're not getting the points on the board. This is going to be a real concern heading into the last 4 games for Rob Edwards. And Brentford today have just been ruthless. That's simply put. Luton haven't really seemed bothered, and Brentford's made them pay.
It's now 2-1 to Mansfield at home to Gillingham in the game there at League 2. 2-2 as well between Sutton and Crawley. Lots of goals going around the grounds. Just going to see any updates on the Fleetlands Folio. Hopefully we'll be able to come back to Ethan Green come the end of full time. Kai, is it going to be another Golden Joys then? Does it look like every team seems to have the momentum?
I tell you what, Bachmann has been immense the last couple of minutes. They've had Hull have had a couple of shots from distance that have been followed up, and he's just bundled the ball, kept really well. But Hull through here, I can't. Oh, again, brilliant save from Bachmann. I think he's got to be man of the match. He's stood up when it's coming. He's had a bit of a spell where he's been out of the team. he's come back in and has been brilliant. I think he's stopped. I know everyone gets a bit funny about expected goals, and it's a bit expected goals saved is 3. So he's kept 3 goals out on average, which, to be fair, with the quality of chances, it's completely understandable.
Yeah,
he's been a wall today.
It was the centre half, Jimmy Greaves, that was running forward there. It was a smart step, like you said, from Backman, low down to his left and keeping hold of the ball to alleviate any pressure of the follow-up coming in. So good goalkeeping there by Backman. Let's not forget as well, saving the penalty within the first 10 minutes. So certainly kept Watford in that one. And it looks to be a goalless draw. Another chance right down the other end for Watford in true Watford fashion. It wasn't Troy Deeney, but who was it?
It was Asprilla. The ball, Rajovic just heads the ball on. Asprilla finds himself in space, has the shot, and it's gone about 10, 15 yards over the bar, completely over. I think time's running out here for both sides.
Yeah, certainly possible. And we could have another Old Firm derby in the Scottish Cup. Celtic have beaten Aberdeen on penalties in the semi-final following a 3-3 draw, and they'll face either Rangers or Hearts in the final of that one. So it seems like the Old Firm happens seems to be every other month in the Scottish League. So we're going to have to be treating ourselves to another one. Obviously, we've got the FA Cup semi-final coming up in 20 minutes' time. Unfortunately, I think that might just
it's a goal
our
for
schedule.
Cardiff.
It's a goal.
It's a goal for Cardiff. They make it 2-1 in the 96th minute.
Wow.
And for Southampton, that might be automatic race over. They stay 3 points behind Leeds, who are second, and Leeds play tomorrow. So it's a shame for Southampton fans as Rashford manages to get himself onto the score sheet right at the end. It's a bundle of players on top of him as well, and we look at the Saints fans now, the travelling fans, they are stunned into silence. And honestly, it's a classic tale for Southampton who can't take their chances.
Well, I think we all owe Dan Baverstock an apology. He was the only one that backed the Bluebirds. And look at it, they've won. They're leading 2-1. It looks as though they're going to be taking all 3 points. And that's
it's a
dagger
shot.
Into the heart
it's a shot from Kean Ashford from well outside the box. The 19-year-old takes a random stab at it. He's given the space, as Sulemala can't close him down, and it's taken a massive deflection off of Jan Bednarek.
So no fault of Alex McCarthy?
No, surprisingly, when he came in, we said he might be shaky. He's had a great game, a couple of point-blank saves, nothing he can do because it comes off the lower back of Jan Bednarek and nestles into the bottom left corner. Yeah,
Stephen Schumacher managing the Potters of Stoke against his old club Plymouth Argyle. It looks like they're going to take all 3 points. 3-0 now to Stoke City. Blackpool against Barnsley is 3-2. And I'm going to see if there's any other goals in How against MK Dons. Phew, we can breathe. It's still 5-3. We're going to go live now to Tom Goward at the Snow Stadium. Last time we heard it was 1-0 thanks to that Ethan Taylor goal. I've heard it's full time. Have there been any goals in the meantime though, Tom?
Yeah, it's full time here at the Snow Stadium and Totton take all 3 points thanks to 2 goals from Ethan Taylor. It wasn't the most exciting game of football I've watched, but the sun was out, so it was worth it. Like I say, Totton with all 3 points, and that secures their place now in the playoffs, and still with a game in hand could see them go up to second with a win away to Plymouth Parkway on Monday. The fans were in good spirits, the Merthyr fans were in good spirits as well despite the loss. But yeah, all 3 points to Totton here. Back to you, Ollie, in the studio.
Sorry everyone. 1-0 to Tottenham there. That's a huge 3 points for the Stags. They've got 2 more games at the end of the season. They travel to Plymouth Parkway on Monday night, and then Saturday they travel to Dorchester. And I was going to use the adjective high flying, but it looks as though they might lose for the first time in a long time against Basingstoke. It's full time in one of our games on our panel, and Kai McKenzie, you're just cursed. And you know what? Thank goodness this is your last time, because let's not have any more of that.
Well, I think if we did another one of these, I would get a goal fest. We've been so close today multiple times. But then it's the quality of Backman in goal, keeping Hull away, and then Asprilla, to be fair to him, I know we spoke earlier in the show about is he having enough output, but he was probably Watford's best attacker today, and he stood up, I say when they needed, they didn't score, but he was brilliant, and I think if a little bit more luck went his way, we'd easily see him explode.
I'll tell you what, Kai, you're not going to want to hear this now, but I've just done a little bit of scrolling. Yeah. There's been 2 goalless draws across the entire of the Football League, including the Premier League.
Brilliant.
You've got one of them.
So it's always going to happen.
It's always going to happen. Something that we haven't actually mentioned today, there's actually another Premier League game this evening at Molineux, Wolves against Arsenal. Now, Arsenal had a little bit of a bump in the road, crashing out of the Champions League, losing to Aston Villa. Try and keep your smiles to yourself, lads. Come on, it's really sad. How do you see it going out?
I think they're going to drop points again.
Yeah, I think after a European hangover, it hasn't gone your way. You lose to Villa last weekend, and you're coming against this Wolves side that really can beat anyone, and they've shown that this season, and they're quite an exciting side to watch. And listen, I'm going to keep my biases away. I'm thinking 3-0 Wolves, comfortable.
You can't say you're going to keep your biases away and then pull that out of the bag, Kai. What do you think, gents? Reece?
Just to interrupt you, it is 5-1.
Oh.
Now, Luton have pulled a goal back, but it is in the 95th minute. It's Luke Berry with a consolation goal, the substitute. He latched on to a Janelt mistake and he rounds Flecken to soil the Bees' clean sheet. It's back-to-back 5-1 defeats, if you remember, because obviously they lost against Man City last week. So Luton shipping 10 goals in 2 games is not exactly ideal if they want to survive the drop.
Well, that side of the panel seems to be sucking all the goals out of this side. What is that, 11 goals over there right now?
Sorry, Ollie, it's bad news here for Stuart Armstrong, who's being stretchered off. He's been on the ground for at least 3 minutes here. Southampton have got a corner to come back into play after Armstrong gets off the pitch, I suppose, but he's being stretchered. There's 4 physios around him and a paramedic as well, prepping the stretcher. But just a reminder that Cian Ashford has put Cardiff in the league, his first senior goal. Being at Cardiff since he was 6, the Welshman made his senior debut this season and signed a new contract in January. He's been described as the future of Cardiff by his teammates. He's here till 2027. A good start for him in the late stages of the season. I think one of the most disappointing things for Southampton as well is they've lost today, well potentially lost today, to a team that have nothing to play for. Cardiff have taken all 3 points, but they stay 11th. There's no way back into the playoffs for them. There's nothing for them to play for. Whereas Southampton had the world at their feet. So there's still time because there's 11 minutes of stoppage time gone, but there's going to be at least 4 minutes on top of this, I think.
And how gutting is it, Reece? How Southampton, they've won their last 3 games. They've only lost 1 in their last 8. That late loss against Ipswich. It looked as though there might have been a resurgence. They were knocking on the door of those automatic promotions.
They've been knocking on the door the whole game, to be honest. Since going 1-0 up, they have been the better team. They've been in the driving seat. And now, the first goal, fair enough from Deodu, but the second goal, a bit of a freak one that Ashford won't mind at all. And now to lose one of the key members of the squad, Stuart Armstrong, maybe not the best in terms of talent, but in terms of experience and level-headedness, he's still not off the pitch here. It's been a good 5 minutes. They've just got him onto the stretcher. He's covered his face. This could be really bad. It could be really bad. He's not able to walk.
Oh, that's horrible scenes there. I'm just going to take you through what's going on in the League One. It's confirmed Fleetwood and Port Vale will be playing League 2 football next season, and also in League 2, Sutton United have been relegated. Whilst they did avoid defeats with a 2-2 draw against Crawley Town, Grimsby managed to beat Swindon 2-0. So they cannot be caught. I beg your pardon. And they will be relegated. And also in those earlier games in the National League, it was all to play for between Boreham Wood, Woking and Ebbsfleet. Boreham Wood and Ebbsfleet playing each other. It is Boreham Wood who will be going down into the National League South next season. Have we got full-time scorelines there in the Premier League, gents?
Yeah, I'll start first. Yeah, it finished Luton 1, Brentford 5. The Bees move up to 14th now on 35 points. They are 10 points clear of Luton, who remain in 18th, and it's looking bleak. Visser grabbed 2 goals, both of them in the first half, a nice curling effort into the top corner and a little tap in as well. Pinnock made it 3 and Lewis Potter made it 4 only after only 64 minutes, and Shade, who scored his his second ever Brentford goal, made it 5, and a consolation at the end for Luton, but I don't think they really care about that. Back-to-back 5-1 defeats, and it's looking really, really bleak now for Luton.
It is. It's a shame really for Luton Town. Worcester now 10 goals in the league for Brentford this season, and Callum 4-1 for Burnley against Sheffield United. I nearly got there. I did nearly get there.
You did nearly get there.
Was it a deserved 4-1? Does it flatter Burnley, or was it a deserved score?
Yeah, it does flatter Burnley. Okay. I didn't think they were that special. I just think they had to be clinical, which they were. But it brings them right back into the relegation battle, with them only being 3 points off Nottingham Forest, having a game played more. They're only 2 points off Luton now, and on to Sheffield United. I think it is game over now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Southern League video printer for the final scores in the Southern League. It's saying here AFC Totton 2, Merthyr Town 0. Basingstoke defeating Dorchester Town by 3-1. Bracknell with a surprise win away at Chesham. That's 2-1. Hanwell 1-0 up against Hungerford. Triverton turning it around away at Harrow Borough. They're looking to get out of the relegation zone. Salisbury keeping pace with Gospel and Totton with a 2-0 win over Hayes and Yedding. It's goalless between Hendon and Gospel. That's a huge That's definitely two drop points for the away side there. Plymouth Parkway 2-2 against Walton and Hersham. Poole Town getting away from that relegation zone. They are now safe. The Dolphins with a 2-0 win over the Railwaymen of Didcot Town. Shoaling, the Boatmen 3-0 win against Swindon Supermarine, and Winchester defeating Beaconsfield by 1-0. Phew, lots of goals. We're seeing the full times going all around the grounds as well. I'll just give you a run through of the Championship games. I think we're going to have a lot of stoppage time in the game at the Cardiff City Stadium between Southampton and Cardiff. 2-1 there still. Swansea have defeated Huddersfield by 4-0 at the John Smith Stadium. 1-1 between Bristol City and Norwich at Carrow Road, I should say. Still playing between Rotherham and Birmingham. That's the only other goalless draw. Stoke City have defeated Plymouth Argyle by 3-0. Millwall, I should say, beating Sunderland 1-0 at the Stadium of Light. And of course, Porkeye 0-0 between Watford and Hull. In League One, the early kick-off finished. Exeter 2-1 at Sixfields against Northampton. Blackpool holding on against playoff contenders Barnsley in a 3-2 victory. Bolton defeating Port Vale by 2-0. That consigns Port Vale to relegation to League Two. Peterborough with a 2-0 win over the Gasmen of Bristol Rovers. Burton managing to hold on against Reading in a thrilling 3-2 encounter there. Derby, whilst they haven't been promoted yet, are getting ever so close with a 1-0 win away at Cambridge. Wickham with a 3-1 victory over Carlisle. It's 1-1 finished at the Valley between Charlton Athletic and Shrewsbury. Lincoln also managing to hold on away at Cheltenham with a 2-1 win. Fleetwood with a 1-0 win over Leyton Orient. That doesn't matter though, they are also going down to League Two, and Portsmouth losing. It doesn't matter though, it looks like they might still be a little bit hungover at Fratton Park with a 2-1 win for Wigan. I'm going to go to you quickly, Reece. Did something happen there?
No, it's full time here. 17 minutes of stoppage time played in the end. We said that Southampton score a lot of goals in the last 15 minutes, but it ended up being the last half hour.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was crazy in the end, but no urgency. When your goal's down, it's no urgency at all, and they miss out on a chance to go level with Leeds. A result obviously especially heartbreaking because they took the lead through an early goal from Joe Aribo. So after the equaliser from Deodu and that last heartbreak dagger from Ashford, his first senior goal, it's probably the race over. And if Leeds lose on Monday, they're still only 3 points away, Southampton, but that's 3 points they should have bit here.
Yeah, and Ipswich also with the opportunity to make a few more ground as well. Let's finish with the League Two fixtures. Wrexham, that early kick-off, a 3-0 win over 10-man Crewe. Doncaster making it 4-2 against Barrow, 2-0 to Grimsby against Swindon. We're going to go to cricket after we finish these League Two full-time results. The game of the day, arguably, came between Harrogate Town and MK Dons, where it finished 5-3 to the visitors. Mansfield with a 2-1 win over Gillingham. Forest Green, whilst they've already been relegated, haven't given up quite yet with a 2-1 win away at Morecambe. Salford with a 1-0 win away at Newport. I'm sure Gary Neville and the rest of the class of 92 will be very happy with that one. Notts County back to winning ways against Colchester. Macaulay Langstaff with his 28th league goal this season. That puts him at the top of in the top four divisions of English football. Stockport County with another 4-2 win against Accrington Stanley. It was 2-2 between Sutton and Crawley. Tranmere managing to hold on against Wimbledon. That was 3-2, and also 3-2 in the game between Walsall and Bradford, with the away side winning. Let's switch sports once again. Like I said, go over to Josh Stewart at the Utilita Bowl to give us updates over Hampshire and Warwickshire.
Sport, yeah?
Solent Sports News, yeah, thank you. Yeah, the
So
university.
here at the Utilita Bowl, it is currently 83 for 1 for Hampshire in their first innings. Gubbins is currently on 35 and Middleton on 40 in a stronger performance, definitely since the tea break. They've slowly managed to increase their run rate and catch up to where they need to be in order to chase down Warwickshire's huge total of 455. We've currently got Briggs in bowling, and he's just, as we speak, bowled out for 4 with very little contact from the batter. Warwickshire slowly losing a little bit more of their grip of the game, but I'm sure they were confident knowing that they've got Hannon Darby to come back into the competition. So currently it's 87 for 1 for Hampshire as we're near the end of play of the day.
Very much there, Josh. Let's see how that ends up panning out. We're going to actually give you a quick rundown of what that means for the championship table, because it's so much. Leicester are still top of the championship with that win over West Brom in the early kickoff with 91 points. A reminder that all teams have 3 games left to play in the top 4. Ipswich in second place with 89. Leeds United in third with 87, and Southampton 84 points. They need to at least make 5 points up on Ipswich Town with 3 games left to play. It looks to be a too little, too late for the Saints there, with another loss against Cardiff. If they did manage to win, that would have put them level on points with Leeds United, with a far inferior goal difference as well. Also, something worth mentioning, guys, in the relegation battle, a huge goal swing with Burnley winning 4-1, Luton losing 5-1. That's 7 goals that the Clarets have made up on the Hatters. Will it matter at the end of the day? Because these are 2 teams already in the relegation zone. Luton still do have a superior goal difference, but what do you think? After that performance, Callum, can Burnley stay up?
It will give them a load of confidence, because I think goal scoring wise, that's what they've struggled with. But it might get them 18th, but it's not. I don't think it will get them out of the relegation zone. I think them 2 are going to go down now, and I think you've seen there's probably not much fight in Luton left.
If it does go down to goal difference, Luton and Burnley are significantly off. I think just peering over my shoulder, it's Everton and Forest both on -16, and then you've got Luton on -28 and Burnley on -32. So it's a bit of a way still to go, but I think Burnley can use that win with confidence. But I don't know how Luton can pick themselves back up off 2 5-1 back-to-back 5-1 defeats with teams they're playing, looking at mid-table, Fulham, West Ham, Wolves all coming up. They're tough fixtures for Luton. Losing 5-1 today, I don't see them getting more than 3 points for the remainder of the 4 games.
And that now makes it 1 win in their last 14. I'm going to bring it up down. It's been far too long. What happened in the game against Bournemouth? How did Luton manage to beat them?
I don't know. You stopped me there.
No, we're all flummoxed, aren't we?
Another day, it would have been 2-3-0 to the Cherries, I'm sure. But yeah, it's a shame that you had to bring it up there. Thanks very much. But they've lost 5-1 today. So
I had to bring it up then. You've seen the most goals out of anyone today. I had to put you back down. You're on cloud 9. Let's put you back down.
Well, can we reverse it to the reverse fixture where it was 4-3?
Yes, of course. What a game that was. Probably an outside shot for game of the season. There's been so many amazing games. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to give probably Reece, Dan, and Callum have a bit of a time to think about it, because I'm going to go to you first, Kai. What's your Premier League game of the season?
It's got to be Spurs-Chelsea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I had it all. I remember I was sat there, mouth open, jaw on the floor. It was insane. It just didn't stop. It had everything.
Yeah.
And then you could also throw a bunch of Luton games in there.
Yeah.
Luton-Chelsea thought was a brilliant game where they almost came back, but
3-2,
didn't. It's been a very good season overall. I think there's about 10 games you could choose and make the case for.
Reece, have you thought of one?
Yeah, I think Spurs-Chelsea as well, to be honest with you, riding off the back of your answer, because as a Southampton enjoyer, Premier League seems a mile away now, so a whole universe away perhaps. But yeah, a great game. I think we've seen a lot of really open games in the Premier League, even in the FA Cup when we've had the big ties as well between 2 big 6 sides. They're really open. Yeah. And I think that, not to bring stuff up, but games like these and ties between the big teams, we've often seen end 0-0 and be a stalemate, but they've been really good this season.
It has been a great FA Cup with Maidstone making it to the last 16. Like you said, that Man United-Liverpool game, what a brilliant game of football. Dan,
coming off the back of what Reece said, it was Chelsea 4-3 against Manchester United a few weeks ago.
What a game.
It was 98th minute and United were 3-2 up, and they ended up losing the game 4-3. See, that game was crucial. Man City 4-4 with Chelsea in October or November, I think it was. There's been so many good high-scoring games, and I think it's the most average goals in a game this Premier League season by some distance this since the Premier League formed in '92. So yeah, it's been a really good season, and hopefully the title and relegation can both, and even the European spots can both. Well, all 3 go down to the last game of the season.
It's going to be really interesting, isn't it? It doesn't look like maybe now 5th will get the final Champions League spot, so Tottenham and Aston Villa have their work cut out. Callum, have you thought about your Premier League game of the season? Has it already been mentioned?
Yeah, sadly it is going to be Chelsea and United.
Yeah, what a game it was.
I popped out for a bit and I saw it 3-1. Then it went 3-2. I went, surely you can see it out, and then it was 4-3. I went, this season needs to end. It needs to end.
I'm sure you said lots of things that we obviously cannot say on air. I'm actually going to say, you mentioned, Reece, how you're preparing for another season in the Championship. Portsmouth against Southampton is going to be back after some time. Well, are you looking forward to it, or have you thought, oh, for goodness sake, really?
I mean, it's a bit of both, but listen, in a truly optimistic fashion, the playoffs are still guaranteed for Southampton.
Of course,
so there's no saying that they'll face Portsmouth.
Of course.
But the cries of when Southampton were in the Premier League, Portsmouth were in League One, of we'll see you next season, you're going down, we're going up, it's suddenly a reality. Yeah. So Southampton, that should add even more motivation. That should put them back in the race for playoff victory at least.
I could see you fuming at the fact they couldn't do the business today, but Tell us, where does Southampton Portsmouth rank in terms of rivalries in this country?
I think it's one of the best.
Yeah.
There's no question. Maybe it's because it's so rare, but you look at the absolute hatred, genuine hatred.
Yeah.
Pompey fans singing about Southampton while they were on the pitch celebrating championship promotion. They hate Southampton. Yeah. So it's really violent.
Can you tell us about the history? Why do they just hate each other?
There's a lot of myths. So there's often stories about how Southampton workers crossed the picket line when Pompey workers were on strike at the docks. There's also different stories of how the Southampton merchant cargo ships were attacked and the Pompey Navy did not help out at all. So there's just historic hatred. There's so many stories. Everyone you ask will have a different one. Yeah. But it's baked now into the DNA of people from Southampton and Portsmouth. Yeah. And that collision, no matter what sport it's in, whether it's the men's football, whether it's the women's football as well, as they often compete, there's always hatred in there.
Yeah, as a neutral, we're all very much looking forward to the Southampton Portsmouth potentially next season. Portsmouth will be in the Championship, but Southampton will still have aspirations to make the Premier League. And you can absolutely be sure that on the Solent Sports News website, we'll be covering that as much as we possibly can. Also, make sure to do the hashtag Solent Soccer Saturday. Tell us your opinions. Don't be too mean about all of us. We've done our very best today. And we're approaching 5:15, so we should go live to Jamie Hale and Alex Isaacs because their game at Loftus Road between Queen's Park Rangers and Preston North End is set to kick off. So I'm not sure if we're ready to go live to them now, and they can give us a slight preview. Maybe we'll see a goal within the opening 30 seconds. Who knows? Doesn't seem like they are quite ready yet. Apologies for the technical difficulties. I think we had a good hour there without any technical problems. I think it was lucky that we had all the goals flying in across the grounds. Unfortunately, like I said, I'll bring it again. Unfortunately, not at Vicarage Road, but it says a lot for the Premier League table. Brentford, it looks like they are out of that relegation battle, and Everton and Nottingham Forest will be licking their lips at the fact that Luton weren't able to pick up 3 points. I'm just going to take you through the points. We obviously spoke about the goal difference. Sheffield United now 10 points away from safety with just 5 games to go on 16 points, measly. Burnley with 34 games played on 23 points. They are 3 points off of Nottingham Forest in 17th, but Forest have played a game less. Luton Town with 34 games have 25 points, so still above the Clarets by 2 points. And Everton with Forest and Everton's point deduction, they are still very much into the thick of it. Everton with 6 games remaining have 27 points, 2 points off the drop zone. So yeah, very interesting in the Premier League relegation battle. Hopefully we'll have some more topsy-turvy nature in the summit of the table as well. Arsenal looking to return to the top of the Premier League table. They're not in FA Cup action after being knocked out by Liverpool. But if they do manage to get all 3 points at Molineux today, it will be a tough task. They will usurp Manchester City on to 74 points. But of course, Manchester City with a game in hand. Liverpool still on 71 points. Are they playing this weekend? When are Liverpool play?
Yes, we've got Fulham tomorrow. 4:30.
So we've got lots of Premier League action coming up over the course of the weekend. Like I said, you can check out our website, Solent Sports News, because we have a few more websites and previews and reviews that you can check that out. We're going to go live over to the Snow Stadium. Now, my video printer suggests it was 2-0 to AFC Tottenham, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think we got that update. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we were too busy smashing glasses and pouring pints. But Jack and Tom live at the Snow Stadium. Tell us, can you give us a rundown of what happened? I've just been informed in my ears. Look, it's all going wrong here on Solent Sports News. Hopefully, if you are still tuning in, you are still enjoying it, but more technical difficulties. I can see to the left of me, they're just enjoying themselves in the sun. We're stuck in a studio. Why can't we be out there? It's absolutely gorgeous. If you are watching in and not taking in the Hampshire sun or wherever you may be watching from your home, whether you're at work, I think you've definitely still chosen the right place. We'll say that.
Well, Ollie, we can actually hear a tweet from Solent University sports journalism graduate Alfie House, who's had his say, obviously covering Southampton FC as the senior reporter for the Daily Echo. He said that he's interested to see what Russell Martin has to say because he's always keen to defend his players after a game. And the quote from Alfie House, they absolutely should have won this game. Wow. So I think that it is frustrating, especially for Alfie House is not a Southampton fan, but someone that's been with the club now for the last few years, home and away, seeing the potential of what a Southampton Russell Martin side can do when they score 3 goals against Preston and play them off the pitch away from home and at home as well. It's really interesting that Alfie House knows that Russell Martin will defend his players, no matter the result.
Well, like I say, it's not confirmed that Southampton will be in the playoffs, but it's increasingly likely. Who are there any teams that from 5th or below that you'd want to avoid? Are there any teams that could be potential dark horses? Because it seems like everyone's just admitted the fact there's going to be 3 of those 4 that we mentioned all throughout the coverage today. But it's certainly possible the likes of West Brom or even Norwich could go up.
I think Southampton have beaten West Brom twice, home and away, so they've done the double over them this season. It'd be very Southampton to find them in the final and lose. But obviously that last spot occupied by Norwich right now. Hull are not too far away, but that actually might not be too possible now. Preston out of the running as well. So I think that both West Brom and Norwich, massive banana skin, especially Norwich, who have that history of Russell Martin. So I do think it will be either Leicester, Ipswich, Leeds or Southampton. There'll be 2 of those teams in the playoff final. But we'll see. I think, they could definitely pull an upset. And Ipswich, like we were saying, have they surprised you of just how good they are? Because you look at their names, there's no star names particularly. Yeah, absolutely. I think even the manager's not a star name. McKenna is not a star name. Someone with absolutely zero experience coming through and somehow managing to take a team that, League One quality really, all the way up to potentially the Premier League. What a fairy tale. We've seen the same with Luton last season. Just really skilled management and players who aren't big names. Same with Luton. I can't even name a player that was at Luton last season and making headlines. You know what I mean? I think that it's these community-driven clubs and these real family teams that come up through the pyramid together. They've just got that togetherness that takes them further and takes them to the top level. Yeah, certainly that. Also, like I said, the Premier League games that are coming up tomorrow on the Sunday. Just found out that Nottingham Forest are playing Everton, and if Nottingham Forest can defeat the Toffees, Sheffield United are down. So we mentioned how they are one of the worst, if not the worst, Premier League side of all time. And it's like I said, it's looking really bad. I think they knew they were going down from Christmas, didn't they? Like I said, we mentioned Harmer. Are there any other names that you think could potentially look for a move to a Premier League club next season? You covered the games today, Callum. Anyone that maybe... I know it's difficult with a 4-1 loss, but were there any shining lights whatsoever?
I think Brereton Diaz, I thought he was quite bright off the left. I think he tried to make things happen. Maybe a few other players, but definitely not Oni McBurney. I could not see him in the Premier League next season. But in all seriousness, I thought he was all right today. I thought he tried to hold up the play, get players involved, but then when it went 2-0, I just thought it was a long way to come back from. And then they got the 3rd, then they got the 4th, and they could even got 5 or 6 on the day, to be honest. But yeah, I think Hammer definitely. I think he'll be in the Premier League next season, or if not, he'll stay at Sheffield United, and Sheffield United will come again next season for automatics.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Callum. We are actually now going to go live to the Snow Stadium with the aftermath. We've got Jack Bunclark and Tom Goward. Well, it's going to be Jack Bunclark interviewing Jimmy Ball, the AFC Totton manager. Hopefully, he's going to be pleased with a win against Merthyr.
Hello, we're here at the Snow Stadium after Tottenham's emphatic 2-0 win against Merthyr Town. We're here with manager Jimmy Ball. So Jimmy, how was that?
It wasn't an enjoyable first half. You know, they're a tricky side. They have some different quirky ways they play. Players playing in different slots that's a little bit unusual, and they've been very successful with it. So if you don't keep the ball well, they're very dangerous. And we didn't keep the ball very well first half. So it was edgy and tight, and we both had a couple of chances, nothing really clear cut. And then second half, once we addressed that, kept the ball better, I think we were good value for it in the end. It just gives us a chance. We're obviously trying to finish as high as we can. We've got a lot of pride in that, and it just helps us in that front.
Yeah, definitely. As you said there, it was 2 emphatic goals, and then, as you said, trying to finish it as high as you can, go to Plymouth on Monday. What are your thoughts and feelings on that game? Yeah, well, it's just tough, isn't it? You know, it's lads, play today, work all day Monday, jump on a bus and drive down to Plymouth. But they're a great group of lads. They've given their all today, as you saw, and we'll go down there and, we'll be fresher than them. They've played like about 6 games in their last sort of 9 days due to fixture congestion, so they're they'll be a lot more leggy than us. So we've got to go there, we've got to be really high tempo, we've got to be positive and brave and really go and put it on them and put it to them. So we go in there, we need 2 more wins to guarantee second place, so that's our only focus. Yeah, so obviously the playoffs are secured. What would it mean for Totton Football Club to be promoted to National League South?
Well, I think it'd be the highest position in the club's history, which is fantastic. We're ready for it as a football club, infrastructure-wise, and how we're set up, and the squad's not far off now. It won't take, a lot to improve it to that standard. So, and I've got great backing of the board and great sponsors that support the club. So, yeah, I think we're ready. But the playoffs, I've won in playoffs and I've lost in playoffs. They're hard, and it's a one-off game, and you've just got to. Things have got to go your way. So it's tricky. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. Finishing second's a huge thing because then we get a guaranteed, the first game at home, and then if we win that first game in the playoffs, we guaranteed the final here, and that's huge for the football club and for us as well. We like playing here. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, of course, the atmosphere was incredible. Obviously, both sets of fans obviously soaking in the sun, beers, and obviously a great football game as well. But what would it mean to you personally if you did get promoted?
Listen, I try and win every game. I don't really think about long-term things. I'm already thinking about whistle blew. I was thinking about Plymouth, who plays, who doesn't, and as soon as that game ends, I'll be thinking about Dorchester, the last game of the season, and as soon as that game ends, I'll be thinking about the other one. And you just keep trying to win. It's just about being a competitor every day, all the time. And at any game we play in, we're still in two cups. We've got a semi-final to play in one and a final to play in the other, just because that's the mentality. Just try and win every day. Be better than you were yesterday, and keep striving to win. Just be a fierce competitor all the time. So the long-term stuff, the philosophy is you keep winning, you'll get there. You keep winning, good things will happen, and take one day at a time, one game at a time, and compete with everything you got. So listen, it will be great, but this is a player's game. It's really not a manager's game or a director of football's game or a chief exec's game or a chairman's game. It's about players and fans, and it will just be great for them, great for these group of lads who have fought and run and put their bodies on the line all season to achieve something that they deserve. So we'll keep going, and fingers crossed we're able to be celebrating in a few weeks' time.
Well, congratulations on the win today, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Yeah, back to you in the
Well, thank you very much there, Jack. 2-0 confirmed to AFC Totton. Ethan Taylor at the double. He's doing in fine form, especially in 2024. And we've got it all on Solent Sports News with Kai McKenzie obviously looking to salvage something after the 0-0 draw between Watford and Hull. He's now covering Manchester City versus Chelsea. We're in the first 10 minutes there. How's it going, Kai?
Yeah, quite end-to-end. Both sides getting corners and chances. Chelsea being caught in possession at the back a couple of times, but as of yet, it's still 0-0. Petrovic has just dropped it after it's hit the post, but it stayed in play. I thought we were going to get a goal then. If I'm speaking, it's 0-0. Just, yeah.
I tell you what, Kai, give that laptop over there. Put it over there, and they'll absorb all the goals in. That's what we need.
I'll shut this one down.
I'm only joking. No. We're actually going to go live over to the cricket now. It's still Hampshire against Warwickshire. Hampshire now batting. Josh Stewart, can you give us any more updates, please?
So here at the Utilita Bowl, it is actually Hampshire have reached 104 for one. They've managed to reach triple digits. Fletcher Middleton is the first one to reach the half-century mark. He's 50 not out, but Gubbins is not far behind at all. He's facing the ball and he's on 46 not out. So slow and steady is the name of the game for Hampshire, but it is proven to work as I just said, Middleton's reached his half-century, and I'm sure it won't be long until Gubbins joins in. 104 for one for Hampshire.
Well, thank you very much there, Josh. It's nice to have another sport covered here on this Solent Soccer Saturday. And finally, we can go over to Loftus Road. We're about 13 minutes into that one. Queen's Park Rangers hosting Preston North End. Let's go live to our reporters, Alex Isaacs and Jamie Hale. We saw them have that pre-match scran, look at the retro football shirts, but now they've got to commentate on some live football. Let's go over now to Loftus Road.
Well,
Loftus Road.
Well,
What
yeah,
a
Loftus
beautiful occasion you've found us in. I mean, it is 12 minutes after we've kicked off, which is unfortunate for the 12 minutes of football we have had, and what a 12 minutes has been. There has been a potential handball. There has been a Lyndon Dykes shot blasted over the bar from QPR.
Lucas Anderson also came close with a volley, just straight wide of the Preston goal. So yeah, chances for QPR, but Jamie?
I was going to say, and we've had a very noisy atmosphere here today, especially since kick-off. But just before we started, there was a full stadium announcement, like a full stadium applaud in a way for PC John Gerrard, who served as a dedicated football officer for QPR over the last 8 years, and he was incredibly dedicated going to both home and away games, and also find himself to become one of the most liked and comfortable PCs for anyone to talk to around the grounds. And it's actually a really, really nice little speech that Alex Fish, who was the head of operations and a friend, said about him. John was definitely a special guy, a very professional and approachable police officer whose commitment to the specialist role of a dedicated football officer was very evident. My relationship with the Metropolitan Police in general, and John in particular, well, John, unfortunately, John in particular was critical to the planned events and to the running of games on event days. John's part in that was immeasurable. His role went way beyond, and his responsibility for attending away games as well. He's had a working rapport and has been a joy to all. He will be missed. Rest in peace. And it is a beautiful little read. I'm bringing this back to Solent, and I'll try and make sure that, anyone who wants to can have a little read. And as you can hear the sounds around the grounds, it has just picked up from the away end. And Isaac, why is that?
Well, Asmir Begovic has just made an absolutely unbelievable save. Will Keane found himself in the box with a clear shot on goal. Shoots just straight at Asmir Begovic, but he does brilliantly to keep it out of his net. So we're still 0-0 here with 13 minutes gone. But yeah, both sides have had plenty of chances, two chances for each side really, both coming quite close. So it's going to be an interesting encounter.
I was going to say, and Preston North End are actually already in the box, putting pressure on, still keeping it going. QPR with Lyndon Dykes rushing across the Preston North End back line, but easily now into the feet of Liam Lindsay, who is just playing it out wide once again for Andrew Hughes, who's now played it through quite easily. But the offside flag has come up. Another chance there for Preston North End to try and press against QPR, who are currently sitting in 19th. They are actually in a bit of a safe position at the moment going into this game, as they are 1 point above the drop, which is going comfortably. But with this game in hand, they have to take this opportunity, as you do not want the last few games of the season to put you in wrong stead. But the applaud once again coming from around the ground. It has been a very positive atmosphere today. And luckily getting some responses here and there about the good work going on. Wow.
But yeah, back to you guys in the studio.
I didn't know whether or not they wanted to...
Well, thanks very much there, Jamie and Alex. A nice poignant speech and some action as well going at Loftus Road. And I think that pretty much brings all of this to an end here on this Solent Soccer Saturday. Thank you very much all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed all the segments, all the little things that we had, whether that be the England squad, whether that be our Super Six predictions, which didn't really go very much to plan, and also our nice little mystery player segment. And once again, a very well done. If you managed to get that, on behalf of on myself, Ollie Howard, and everyone here on the panel and all the production team as well, thank you very much to Solent University for hosting this event. We've had an absolute blast over the past 3 years on this course. And if you're watching this, if you happen to be a student who maybe is coming to Solent, thinking about Solent University in the future, I wouldn't recommend it enough. A huge thank you to everyone there, and a very thoroughly enjoyable show. I hope you have a very nice rest of your weekend.